Started 27 games at left guard prior to this season. Indiana with 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen as returners. Not a lot of
we should be back
on that O-line. They were here before.
Sorry about that, everybody. And sorry about your Huskers.
74 yards.
You know what I mean?
Scoring in a minute and 17 seconds.
Trash ass Hoosiers.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team, the ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Let's go downstairs to Jen.
And we saw Dylan Raiola limp
Raiola was coming back out.
He basically took about 2 seconds.
Yeah, I figured he would, but it's probably not going to be 100. Now they're going to start sending pressure. Hell, I would.
As he looks for a response before the half.
Well, the only positive thing for Nebraska right now is that if they can get a score here, they get the kick to start the second half, Gus. So there's a chance you could cut this all the way to 28-21, but only
Rompton, I appreciate the black shirt showing up today. Well, offense ain't really showing up either.
Offense hasn't showed up.
That's a late hit.
All year.
Did he need to hit him high and send him to the ground? Ugh.
The secondary has done a heck of a job.
Man.
Nobody open down the field. I thought maybe Jamal Banks was going to pop open, but he was immediately claimed.
Oh, man, if you guys could help us out, hit that like button just to, not for the game. You don't like the game. You shouldn't like the game. But it'll help us get some people back in here. I don't blame people for just turning this shite off. Rhule under pressure. Nice throw, though. Up to the 40. Clock gonna run. Need to hurry up.
But D'Angelo Pons is there.
They gotta take a timeout. What are they doing? You either gotta go quickly. It's not a first.
Yeah, what are they doing, bro?
They desperately need a score here. I don't understand why they're taking.
Well, they get the ball back, so there's no rush. They're not down 3 touchdowns or anything.
Down in 5 at the 40. Raiola steps up.
Come on, bub. Oh my God!
And a flag.
I would hope, like, they gave him the other late hit.
Late. Johnson the target. Linnell Carr Jr. defensively.
Come back out here, Raiola.
Oh, no flag on the play.
No flag.
And the Nebraska offense goes off the field. Indiana to get another shot at it with 29 seconds to go.
That is just not what you wanted out of their
Man,
hot garbage.
It's kind of exactly what you said that the problem would be. You're like, if, oh my
snap,
Lord.
And then he shanks it off his foot because he had to run.
Luckily, they don't have much time, right?
Yeah, I mean, this game's toast.
Yeah.
Really
Now I'm just looking to see if we can make it interesting and show some fight in the second half, man.
Yep, and that was a bad snap and
you know,
was blocked. Indiana was aggressive trying to come after that punt, almost got to it, and now with good field position, and you're talking about a couple of timeouts, you've got veterans all over the field. Like, why not? Why not go after this and feel like you can create some big plays? They've created big plays the entire day.
I tell you what, offensive coordinator Mike Shanahan calling a good first half for IU.
Yeah, Mike Shanahan has been with Signet this whole stint through Elon and JMU and now here at Indiana. So this guy knows what his head coach wants. And something tells me with 2 timeouts, even 25 seconds, they're going to test the waters here with the first play, see if they can get something to pop.
First down at the 34. Rourke.
Look, where's he going?
Nice run after the catch.
Where's Javen Wright going? He starts breaking on the dude that's out, and then he turns back into the guy that's blocking him, even though there's nobody back there in that direction. Did you see it?
No. Well, I saw him pick the wrong, like he went up the middle and it bounced out. Is that what you're talking about?
Where do they need to go?
Now, that's a difficult one because Radicic has not attempted.
Yeah, Sunday, we don't know what happened, but
only 37 yards, but Gus, he's perfect.
Just show a lot less of it, basically none of the game. Gonna have to do it like Suns Valley, the old hard way, you know.
Short ones. I was watching before the game, and in pregame, and I thought he was pretty good up to about.
Oh, man, extremely negative, Mike. You might not be wrong here. He said Ohio State's going to win by 60 next week. Can you believe we got to go see them? Man.
I thought that'd be a bloodbath anyways.
Yeah.
But seeing the defense getting exposed like this.
What's this, a bloodletting?
For sure. For sure.
Abram, it just went down. Like, it got taken down.
That's got to be a pick.
He'll just slap it down, though.
I mean, that's fine. He wasn't going to do nothing with it. But that thing hung in there like a punt.
Covered a lot of ground. Miles Price, the target.
Oh, am I ahead of you?
Taking a big
It
shot
doesn't
down
matter.
the field
Might not be.
Price, and Hartzog was right there. He just goes up and bats that ball away. But I love the aggressive nature. Why not take a shot?
What do you think about him putting his hand on like his helmet and shoulder to lift himself up like that?
I mean, they're letting a lot of the physical stuff go, like that. Their second touchdown drive, when they started throwing deeper, they were like, I don't want to say like pushing off, but using their hands and getting pushy. They've obviously been hitting our guys after the play, or, you know, not crazy late. I'm not crying about it, but I'm just saying, like, I'm fine with them letting them go on shit like that. Now, if you grab a guy or square up and push him out of bounds, yeah, I think you're going to have to call it. But if you're going to let them play physical, I'm cool with it. Or let some contact go.
You got to just heave it to the end zone. And to be honest, I don't know if Rourke can get it that far with that thumb injury. You know, that ball that he threw down the series to Price, it kind of hung.
Yeah, Austin Man said they're not ready to play today. They never seem ready. Like, well, maybe they've only had one other 11 a.m. game, but that 11 a.m. game was an abomination, bro.
Rourke. He's been brilliant
What, Purdue?
in this first half.
Yeah, in the first half. The first half was an abomination.
Touchdown, no interceptions, a long of 36 yards.
I mean, the offense is what it is, man. It's not very good. There's a lot of potential talent there, and then maybe throughout the rest of the year and the next season. That's what I'm saying. That just shows you potential, but they're definitely not built for this. Like, the defense is going to have to make some insane adjustments that I don't see them making, to where Indiana doesn't score at all the second half and you get a couple turnovers, because the offense isn't going to go 3 or 4 straight drives scoring touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to need 7 different possessions to get, like, none of it's realistic. Like, it's just not, team ain't built for this. And there's zero reason to think that there's going to be adjustments anyways second half. I would expect it to get worse.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do?
He said,
what magic wand are you going to wave to not only does this not happen, but you flip the script and now you're able to score at ease on them? They haven't even
that.
Their punter's probably wearing
Okay,
church shoes and dressed up on the sidelines. Like, they have zero consideration of using him, and there's been 2 times where they maybe we're deciding on once on using him and once on using their kicker. And it's like, no, we'll just go for it. And then you had that sack, but other than that, they've converted every 3rd and 4th down this game.
Interception, Hartzog. Just run it back, baby boy. Up.
And it'll go down at the 35, and that'll take us to the end of the first half. But what a good one. For IU, that quarterback rating will go down.
Can you talk about Satterfield and what you think about Satterfield right now? Because that's what I'm seeing the most in the chat. People are just pissed off about Satterfield.
I just want to ask the chat, and I'm not saying it in like a condescending or what about. I'm honestly asking, what do you want to see more or less of as far as play calling goes?
Yeah, it's like, can you?
I'm seeing horrible execution on offense. I'm seeing Raiola miss guys that are wide open because he's throwing it short. Now he looks a little hobbled. He doesn't look clean. He's not able to move in the pocket to where he has clean throws. When he doesn't have a clean pocket, that's when his throws get shaky. I'm not seeing like crisp route running or insane run blocking when guys get towards the edge. You saw Fedoni miss the block on the one edge that would have been good for Harburg. Like, there's a lot of non-execution happening. I don't know that. I mean, I could probably sit here and come up with some shit that I'd like to see different play calling, but it's
can you scheme better to support the problems you're seeing, like offensive line and stuff? Like, is there things you can do to like help alleviate some of the problems as a play caller? I think that's what people would probably want the most.
Like, in terms of what though? Like to make guys run better routes, or to make your quarterback have
well,
a clean
it's
pocket?
like, okay, so you guys are having trouble running routes, you're not getting separation. Okay, then let's go ahead and
but even when they do,
more.
he's not very accurate today. He's had some really nice throws, especially to Fedoni, but I mean, outside of that, believe me, man, I'm all for getting on coaches and play calling and play styles and all that other shit. But you don't want to fall into this deal of like, well, the offense looked really good in this game, in this situation, so we know they should be able to do it, so it's obviously play calling. Like, no, you know what I mean? Sometimes dudes aren't. They're just, I agree, they're on the whole, they're getting out-coached. Like, the shit that's always driven me nuts with Tony White's defense is that middle range that's always open. They've exploited that to the point where they're even using that in the run game with like the kind of delayed handoffs, or the running back gets the ball and kind of, it's more like an option or counter type shit, but it's like you've got that softness back there. You send guys out, they're backpedaling, and then once you get a lane, you cut back, and now you've got all kinds of space once you get through the gap to get up into the second level, because you've got the misdirection going on in front. The passing game, like even when they decided to test the waters on attacking man-to-man defense, they were getting all the 50-50 balls or plays that should have been, you know, if a guy had turned his head and put a hand up, they'd get knocked down. But same thing on offense. It's like they know Raiola is not going anywhere. Like, he's not even really moving in the pocket too much. So they're not worried about him running out somewhere. They know that has zero problem going down to the short check down man. So they've always got somebody covering him. It's just, they've got everything schemed out.
So what you're saying, if I could paraphrase, if I could sum it up, is we shouldn't have worn white on white.
That's what it all boils down to.
Jeff Drake, a real man with a $2 dono, says pure trash. Shit emoji. More. Yeah. Well said. You know, don't need a lot of words to describe what we see going down. Yeah, definitely a beat down this week and next week. The rest of our schedule, there's a couple more really winnable games though, right?
Every game except for Ohio State is winnable.
The rest of the way,
but
I agree.
What are you going to do? Like, it's just, I don't know. I can't put my finger on why you get such drastic teams from us. You know what I mean? Like, every Saturday you get such a drastically different offense, such a drastically different defense combination. Like, the only consistency all year long has been how bad the special teams is. That ain't good.
Right. Okay. I mean, is it good that we're 5-1, even though you can describe us as that way? I think that's indicative of growth. You're still able to win most of your games.
Well, that's the big part of it to me, is like when people get so mad at not looking good on some of the wins or losing in overtime to Illinois, I think the expectation or the interpretation a lot of fans had early on in the year is like, okay, we're back. Like, we're competitors in a higher level than what they actually are. Like, they're still
we're higher level
going through the building process. Right, but that doesn't mean all the way up to where you should be blowing teams out and maybe losing one game a year to Ohio State or Michigan or something like that. Like, they're still in the building process to get to that point.
Would you personally put Kalen out there for one of his 4 games?
Yeah, I wouldn't put Raiola back out. If he's nursing some kind of an ankle deal, this game's pretty much over. Like, you're going to risk getting him hurt, or really making him more gun shy in the pocket or absolutely destroying his confidence if he just goes out and has a repeat of what happened in the first half. I mean, luckily he didn't throw a pick, has he? We just had that one fumble.
Yeah.
So, I mean, before everything starts really falling in on him, like, I'd go with Harburg, man. Like, give their defense another thing to worry about.
Right.
They're not going to have to worry about the pass as much, for sure, but you still have to cover the pass, and then now you got to worry about covering a quarterback run. So, and maybe do some true option where him and Ramir, him and Emmett are potential threats. But
I would come back out with the starters, play it straight like you're going to, like, implement your halftime adjustments, whatever those are, go out here and see if they work. After a couple of drives, if it's just the same situation, pull him. I'd be fine with Harburg or Kalen or a combination, really, of the both of them. I think
you don't want to send a message to Raiola like, you're the reason we're down this much and we're pulling you. You know what I mean? Like, you got to make sure it's like,
no, it's about his ankle.
You're already,
you're
already tweaked up. We don't want to make things worse. This game's an abomination. It's going to take a full-on implosion from them and the greatest adjustments and heroics in recent history out of this team to flip this in the second half. So
as soon as I heard Matt Leinart say, I usually choose by emotion, so I'm going with Nebraska, that was the first bad omen right there. But I mean, this is like Illinois on steroids, man. What they're doing to us. It's crazy. It's like, I feel like this is how we played versus UNI. This is how our defense looked at versus UNI. Okay, so the other thing I'm seeing a lot of is people upset and done with wanting fired Matt Rhule. Your take?
So are we going to be a school? Is it we want to hire a new coach every year, or every 2 years? I mean, well, Indiana's undefeated their first year with it. Cool, man. Like, why doesn't every team just go undefeated then? That's hilarious.
I bring it up because it's not just one person. I've seen at least 10 saying Rhule has to go.
And get who? Same thing I'd ask with why Satterfield has to go, or what you would want different out of Satterfield. Who's the coach you bring in place of Matt Rhule, and why? What would this other coach do better than Matt Rhule? For sure, there's other coaches that I think X's and O's are on field wise coach better
for sure.
But he has coordinators. He's not like a head coach that runs the offense or a head coach that runs the defense. He basically lets his coordinators call the plays as he's like, I want to run the ball here. I want to own this possession. I want to move the ball. I want to up tempo faster deal. I want to get some pressure on the quarterback, and then lets them call the plays. As far as rebuilding and recruiting and stuff like that, I don't know who is or would be available that's going to be better than him. But if you want to talk about somebody who's going to be a lot more hands-on in either the offense or defensive side and impact the game that way, maybe. I don't know who you're going to find that's available. But do you want to pay $40 million or whatever's left on his contract to another coach? I mean, honestly, I feel dumb talking about it. Like, it's.
I agree.
There's no possible way it's happening. I mean, this is going to be the second loss of the season. You're over halfway through.
Well, that was my point.
Clearly still in a rebuild. And when he got hired, everybody talked about the 3-year process for Rhule, but kind of overachieved last year, especially in that little stretch where they won 4 or 5 in a row. It was all about just having a bad quarterback and needing a better quarterback. You've got that, but the dude's still a 19-year-old freshman playing against, like, this team, for example. These guys have all played on teams for years. bitter. They weren't playing on better programs, this and that, played under this coach's system. They basically went the Dion route, but they did it with not just like high-flying, highlight reel talent, like guys that had been in his system or had been like Ward, for example, had been.
Well, it reminds me of UTEP, how they brought a bunch of guys over from
it just didn't pan out with
Austin P. Yeah, it's just not the same, but that's why I was asking you about like the rest of the schedule down the way after Ohio State isn't the scariest situation, because just look forward to what realistically could happen here and likely will. We lose this week, we lose next week, we're 5-3. You're more than likely going to beat UCLA. There's your 6th win. You get in a bowl game. And then you beat Iowa at the end of the year. And I think 7 games makes you feel good enough. And, you go to having a winning record and go to getting a bowl game. That's what we wanted this year. That's what we wanted. That is marked progress, man. Like it's not the progress you thought you were getting, but like you're saying, bro, he's 19 years old. This is his first season playing in college.
And a lot of your talent is still young.
Yeah.
Like your Nair and Banks obviously aren't, neither is Fedoni, but like you haven't seen much of Carter Nelson, which they weren't going to redshirt him because he was too talented and need to be on the field. He's been on the field a few times, but I haven't seen him have plays like drawn up for him really in the last couple games.
You think they are going to redshirt him?
Freshman. Hasn't he appeared
the way they're
more than 4
not
games?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he has, and the way they're not using him really makes
I think
it
he
look
has.
like...
I think he's been in more than 4 games.
Are you serious?
I think.
Man. Well, he barely plays. That's a weird way to not redshirt someone.
I mean,
really
I get
weird.
Nobody wants to have patience, and it makes it even worse when you see teams like this that have a guy come in and in a season flip a program, but
they still haven't played anyone.
Those are outliers.
And apparently we're not that good either.
Exactly. We hadn't really played anyone. You know what I mean? When we were getting into the Big Ten deal, and it's like, you know, the style that he wants to play on offense is going to call for a lot of close games. But it's only going to be close games if your defense is doing what it's supposed to do. So when your defense comes out and looks like this today, that style that you want to play on offense, you're just going to get blown out. But you're going to take opportunities to blow teams out when you're not letting them score at all, and your offense is in rhythm, like the end of the Purdue game, the first half of the Colorado game, different stretches in the earlier games or whatever. When you decide, okay, I don't want them putting up crazy numbers and crazy scores. I want to just take the air out of the ball and pound it. You're going to, especially when you're doing that early on, like we didn't establish the run and wear on them. You don't have that good of an offensive run blocking game. And you don't have those running backs that have that crazy speed or that get to top speed quicker, you know, like Taylor Martinez used to have. Like, you don't have that. So you keep saying, I want these 30 or 20-yard runs to turn into 80-yard touchdowns. And it's like, then have Barney run, you be your running back. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, that would be interesting, right? You do need somebody with Barney's speed back there, though, if that's what you want to do. Your internet's been just terrific today, by the way. You're not freezing and glitching in really ugly positions or anything, you know? Dion said, my last season if they don't start firing everyone. Oh, my gosh, dude. What did you expect to happen this year, Dion? Like, what is success to you? I really want to know. What would a successful season have been? Because for me, it was getting to a bowl game. Beating Colorado is like a cherry on top, and then another cherry on top is beating Iowa while getting a bowl game. We get that in Raiola's first year, sitting pretty. I think it just sucks to be in the position we're in right now, and, you know, we lose track of that. Yeah, what do we want to do? Go up against Oregon in the Big Ten championship? I don't think so. Okay. That would be a bloodbath. Dion, we will get 6 wins. I promise you we will get 6 wins, Dion. Dion, if we get 6 wins, will you cheer up? If we don't get 6 wins, I'll eat a live crow on air. What's up, Daniel? Rip City Brady said he wouldn't wish that on y'all. Yeah, we ain't ready for all that. But, Brady, you better hope your Oregon Ducks can handle this Indiana team. All right? Dion, have you seen UCLA this year? You think we're bad. Wait till you watch them boys in powder blue and tan. God, their pants and socks and shoes. Ugh. And they play about as bad as their jerseys look. It's like when Extremely Negative Mike says something negative, I can't be mad at him. How could I possibly call him out on it? His name is Extremely Negative Mike. You know? Man. Bravo to the Fox presentation here. Well, they are the Babe Ruth of showing commercials right now, man. They are just in their prime, can't be stopped, refuse to bring the game back. I swear to God, if there's one more commercial, I will be shocked. Another $1 from a real man, Jeff Drake. Thank you. We will put that $1 to good use. Here we go.
I'm going to go wait for my water before this gets going. Right back.
All right.
Bloomington, Indiana Memorial Stadium, where the Indiana Hoosiers lead the Nebraska Cornhuskers 28-7 as we head into the second half.
Man.
Gus Johnson along with Joel Klatt. Let's just say it right now. Curtis Rhule.
Shut up, Gus!
And he has to be in contention for the Heisman Trophy.
Okay.
I'm going there right now.
All right. I've got to button up with
Man,
something.
imagine Curtis Rourke if he didn't tear his ACL.
Yeah.
And he was this good at passing, and he had all of his mobility. That'd be crazy. He wouldn't be playing in Indiana, though.
To that extent, you're absolutely right. He's been fantastic. And listen, let's take a look at the next level moments from the first half. Sponsored by AT&T Business. Reliability for your business is our business.
No, I agree, Dion. They don't have,
that has allowed the run game to get going. Ellison has been terrific,
you know, anything super impressive, and they haven't played anyone impressive. But how can you lie? But how can you deny your eyes of what you're seeing right now?
You know, a touchdown. Nebraska tried to keep this one close in the first half, but Tyson Lawton goes in from 1 yard out. Ellison, a 31-yard rush TD. They've been explosive. They've thrown the ball well. They've rushed the ball well. All stemmed by their quarterback, who's been terrific for them. Our first half check-in is sponsored by Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Gus,
definitely looks like Raiola is coming back out.
total yards to only 133 for Nebraska. And this is against, to your point,
Kick is away.
a top 10 scoring defense.
Ooh, little bobble. Gets it back, though.
Nebraska.
And Emmett gets it to about the 22, 21.
Asking Kurt Signet about his quarterback, Curtis Rourke. He said he was very impressed by that first half. And as for the thumb, he said he's fine. And as for that interception, he looked at me and said, I'm not worried about stats. We had a chance to score there. How we start this second half will be crucial. Now, I asked Coach Rhule how to get the run game going. Only 29 rush yards. He looked at me, Gus, with a big sigh and said, honestly, not much
What up,
went
Brecken?
our way in the first half. We cannot look up at the scoreboard. The second half is about
It's
figuring
been
out
a minute,
who
Fog.
football
It's
is.
been a minute. I just didn't think it was going to be this tough.
Down from the 27 for Raiola.
Woo, big hit.
Pass, but they don't go
Big hit on Nair. Gets him down.
Isaiah Nair immediately.
This game can be boiled down to which offensive line has played better. You know, Nebraska has had an inability to run the football very well. You know, Dowdell is only running for 2.5 per carry. Harburg comes in only 3.5. Like, they just haven't had much. Meanwhile, Indiana's offensive line has owned the line of scrimmage.
Handoff up the gut. Emmett stopped after
Something interesting
6.
happened in our meeting yesterday. It was kind of funny. Talking to Aiden Fisher, he's a tough guy, number 4, middle linebacker. He said his sisters, Kylie and Addison, aren't going to watch his game today, Joel, for an interesting reason.
Well, he said he was definitely going to lose this one. He said they're in Miami for the Taylor Swift concert.
His sister said, hey, big bro, we're not messing with you.
Fisher had to come out. He looks banged up.
3rd down and 2 in Miami at the 30.
Raiola.
Looking for that first down.
Ooh.
And he will have it. Emmett Johnson.
Emmett gets that first down.
Right near the marker, and it should be a first down for the Huskers.
Well, it's an imperative series that Nebraska has
First
some
down.
success here. And if you're Dylan Raiola and this offense, what worked in the first half was their ability to get a little quick tempo. Their one scoring drive, they went a little bit quicker, and then they got some misdirection things going. And once they do that, then they can get down the seams of the defense with their tight end Fedoni in the passing game.
First down at the
Raiola
37.
throws it out to the flat. 4 yards.
A lot of room over there this time.
Barney gets crushed.
Barney is
Nothing must be available downfield.
I also think Nebraska has got to get to some screen game. If you notice the amount of pressure and upfield pressure Indiana's defensive line has put on Dylan Raiola, well, you got to use that aggressiveness against them a little bit. Look for some screens here from Nebraska in this third quarter to try to move the ball down the field.
Banks in motion, stops at the line, hand off. Nice spin, but he gets yoinked. Yoinked to the ground.
3-yard gain.
3rd and 2. What you have to imagine is already 4th down territory.
This is when they have just
You know?
really struggled protecting Raiola, and he's had to hold the ball with nobody open. The coverage has been tremendous on these 3rd downs.
Why is that dude doing the Florida Gator chomp? Did you see that?
Is this a position
No.
where Matt Rhule says, no, we're not coming
Weird
off
fan.
the field. We need to score.
3rd down and 2. Dante Dowdell.
They're going to bring not much rush. Dowdle gets that first. Yeah, it's like you're going to have to put him back in there at some point.
Especially when Emmett has a chance to try to power through to the first down and tries to do a spin move.
Such a
And
good player. It's tough to talk about what makes a linebacker a quality linebacker, but a lot of it is instinct and then the ability to fix mistakes in front of you. And on that play, he actually jumped over a gap, Gus.
I hope not, Jahan. You're saying any doubt we give up 50? Bro, I think this is where Tony White's defense needs to just bow up and not give up any points this second half. That's what I'm looking for. 0 to 7 points in a scoring flurry, Gary.
I thought if we gave up this many points in the game, we were going to lose. And gave it up in the first half.
Damn, he got rocked, bro. Woo! That'll wake you up on an 11 a.m. start.
To squeeze down so that then you can boot out around him.
Remember, he's 19 years old. True freshman, starting at quarterback at Nebraska.
Raiola with no one in the backfield with him. Throws over the middle to Fedone. Come on, Fedone. Attaboy, Fedone, daddy! Bro, you've been the best player on offense all day.
They just snapped the ball on mine.
He's probably their
Oh, Riri.
That's how sweet
My bad.
shit is today. No, you're fine, dude. Don't worry about it.
I'll pause.
I really don't care. I'm not
I'm going to
worried
do it on
about
the
it.
next snap, okay?
I am not worried. At least you'll be closer to the
Fedone with 5
chat.
catches for 63 yards. First down at the 30-yard line.
He does a good hard count here. It's not the snap.
Did you pause it?
Not yet. He still hasn't snapped it, dude. He's taking it down. Snap. Do 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 do
Snap.
do.
Raiola with the hand.
All that to lose
Good
5
Lord!
yards rushing.
What the?
How have we not taken the downfield shot?
I don't know, bro.
They've got so many people up. They got one high safety on this play. You know they're worried about Fedone. He's the only threat. Like, have Fedone just attack the middle of the field and have people on the edges start going on some goals.
This ain't Emmett's game. This ain't the time for Emmett.
Raiola right post snap, and he's trying to get
2nd and 12.
before the snap, but that's not working.
Emmett shifts over. He's got pressure. Nice throw to Jacory. Got that speed. Yuck! Juked right into the tackler, dude. Decent little gain ski.
Dude, they have to get Raiola looking downfield. I understand he sees a full body and is like, I can complete this pass, but they're 1 yard drags or a guy that broke off at 5 or 6 yards and is basically coming back as he's running across. Like, you're not threatening. There's zero threat downfield for these guys. Hasn't been the last few weeks.
Okay, Emmett, shut me up. Man, great run.
But it's a gain of 11.
They need to stay in those condensed formations, those bunch sets, I would say. Like you're seeing, this is more of a spread set, right? But they have an inability to block.
It's not going to be that bad, Cat. I promise. We'll get 6 wins. I think we'll get 7.
Barney trying to make a man miss. Gain a yard on the play. Farrell again defensively for the Hoosiers.
Gus, what do I always talk
What's up,
about
Tyler
best
Nealons?
defenses out there when we're doing these games over the years? What do the great defenses do? They tackle well in space. And that's what you've seen from Indiana on a few different occasions. There's their defensive coordinator, Bryant Haynes, who's also been with Kurt Signet through a couple of different stops. 13th play of the drive.
Snap, we're going to hand it off to Emmett again. He going to go down. Ooh, at least he fell forward past the line of scrimmage. This is 4-down territory, right?
The edge right here. So what the edge has
because honestly, I wouldn't mind giving our field goal kicker an opportunity because it's like we're going to lose the game more than likely anyways. He needs reps. He's never going to get better without in-game reps. It will never get better.
At the 13.
Believe me, I know that's an unpopular opinion. 3rd and 8. Emmett in the backfield. And they try to throw for 3 yards when we need 8. Incomplete, out of bounds. We're going for it, 4th and 8.
No, don't worry. There'll be a 2-yard check down at best. Like shit like this. That's what I don't understand. Is Raiola just looking close because he's had so much pressure and he knows he's not going to move or run? And he's never taking a medium to deep pass? Or is this all purpose by design?
Oh, picked off.
Thank you. Take it.
He gone.
Let up.
No, Ramir going to catch him. Wow, Ramir.
I honestly hope they put like 56. I hope it's 56-7.
Why?
They need an absolute drubbing for everybody. The players, for the coaches, the whatever it is that makes these guys come out week after week and just do the most vanilla shit, lethargic route running, half-ass pass and run blocking, the lazy passes, the fucking insane cushions on defense, as the year goes on, the sporadic missed tackles, like all the shit needs to just be glaringly embarrassing on tape.
28-7, Indiana with the ball now. Taven Jackson in at quarterback. He'll throw it.
I don't want to hear Rhule explain away. Well, if this happens, then this happens. Well, if it was just this, then just this. Like, shut up, dude. Like it's clearly getting easier and easier for everybody to game plan for you guys.
They got their backup QB in, by the way.
Don't blame them.
Started 5 games, played in 9 for the Hoosiers. He's a redshirt sophomore, 6'4", 212 pounds.
Been a while since we had our ass whooped like this, bro.
Yeah. Last year, Michigan.
Yeah.
They give it to him straight ahead. And he'll get to the 2, maybe inside the 1-yard line on the play.
And obviously, that injury to Curtis Rourke's hand, which we were seeing at the end of the half there, was worse than what we anticipated. They go into the locker room, and now this is their first snaps of this second half. That was a long drive for Nebraska. They got the opening kick of this second half, Gus, used up half the quarter, didn't score a point, and now Taven Jackson on the field for the Hoosiers.
Only the 4th interception of the season for Raiola. 2nd and goal of the 2 for IU.
Man in motion. They're going to hand off. Nope. Going to throw it. Nice little play action. I mean, we always struggle with play action around the goal line. You want to score against us, just run a play action. We'll guarantee that you're running.
I mean, today, literally, it's just call a play, and you're going to score.
34-7.
Man,
I don't understand why Hill's still out there. Look at him. He doesn't even start moving his feet. It's just like rocking. Like he's like an old man where he's got arthritis. Like I get the dude's
that's
coming off an injury. Like,
that's plantar.
Okay, so in a game that's clearly over, you're going to have him out there re-aggravating shit or just getting absolutely worked instead of letting maybe Bly Hill start getting some clock so that he can get back.
I think he wants to redshirt Bly.
I'm sure they are going to redshirt him, but he's got 4 games. You can use him.
First they pick one off.
Share right back out there, dude. I mean,
and then they pay it off with the touchdown. IU.
35-7. You ready for this comeback, Gary? Everybody ready for this comeback?
Oh, yeah.
I feel bad for Indiana, to be honest, because it's like they think they got us, but
they're
we got
so excited right now.
We got them right where we want them. Okay? I will light myself on fire if Dylan Raiola comes back out and plays the rest of this game. Like, just protect the man's ankle. Take this L on the chinny chin chin. This is a good humbling moment for the team. A very, very talented, very, very young team.
I would put all of the backups in across the board.
I agree.
And I would do it.
What about leaving the starting offensive line out there as punishment?
No, I would let everybody know that you're trash. That's why you're sitting down. And we're going to let these guys who supposedly, apparently bust their ass in practice all week long, at least get some clock. And then I would point out every effort player, everything else they do, of how we didn't see that the whole first half from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, the whole idea that they practice harder and you're getting these better recruits and all this other shit that's fine. But at some point, you have to take away something from these games that you lose when they're close games. You have to decide something is going to have to change the outcomes, or like shit like this. When you're getting embarrassed by a team, you're the ones that have to stop it. You're the ones that have to alter something, do something. Coaches too. Like, I'm not saying just the players, but across the board. Like, well, this is what we do, so we'll do this. And no, bitch, that's not working. Like, are you able to, like a really good fighter, can train all camp for a certain style or a certain way of fighting. And if it's not working or the fight's not going that direction, the great ones will adapt or make adjustments and still win, or at least make it a fight. Nebraska cannot do that. If anything, it's like we were saying the earlier games in the season, they would adjust and stop scoring or start letting the other team score more. It's like, why change if you're beating a team 28-0 at halftime? What are you doing? Why not keep your foot on their throat and start maybe putting a little bit more confidence or a little bit more? How did your team feel when they win 28-10 against Colorado compared to how they would feel if they would have won 56-0 against Colorado?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or if you put it on Purdue the whole game instead of the fourth quarter.
Just really.
Take over for me. We got a Jeff Drake $2 dono says Scott Frost will have his revenge. Bro, you know he's drunk right now in an airport bar.
Look at
this is
kid.
crazy.
Who is that?
That was Emmett. I'll be right back. Got to make a little pit stop.
Yeah, good. Start reading some of this chat.
But right now, it's all in.
Oh, read from your chat.
Cornhuskers can do.
Money is tight.
Dion says, what's worse is Indiana is not good. Their stats and record would argue. All that money spent on facilities and players just to be mid. Chasing 28.
And of course, we'll downgrade our insurance to get a lower rate.
I didn't know, Tyler, you said I knew the bye week would be bad. I didn't think it'd be great, like it'd be that big of a difference for us. I was worried that they also had a bye, and the way their coach is, he's the exact opposite of Rhule. Like, he wants to beat teams and then shit down their throats, essentially, and then giving him that much time to really hone in on what other teams have done to exploit Nebraska, or what little things Nebraska has done, the seldomness that the offense has been successful and how to really manipulate the defense, and that seems to be legit. I'm way behind now.
Oh man.
Alexander the Great and Terrible said, let's forfeit the Ohio State game and let our players rest. I mean, they had 2 weeks of rest, and it apparently did them no good.
It did them negatively, bro. They came out like not ready to, not ready to play, like soft. I think this would have been the 11 a.m. game to have them do hitting drills and do the full Oklahoma drills before the game.
Yeah, Dion, I get that they haven't played anyone. Like, I was saying the same thing, but being undefeated when you don't play anyone doesn't make you a bad team. Like, a bad team would have at least some close games, if not a loss or two.
Yeah, you're gonna have to just ignore Dion because you're not gonna get through. It's kind of like an Iverson situation, I
mean, I'm perfectly fine people having like whatever opinions or feelings they want. I'm not trying to redirect it. I'm just trying to be like rational.
That's gonna be lost on Dion, is what I'm trying to tell you. It won't be appreciated, guys. We have 40 likes, and that's the stream got reset because we were showing a little more of the game. But help us out, please. Hit that like button for us. We got 264 in here. We can get a lot more likes than that if you guys will help us out, man. It just makes it so YouTube sends it out to people. All right, let's see what the AI chat summary is saying. Viewers are expressing frustration about Indiana Hoosiers' poor performance during the 2022 football. What? No, where'd it go? That was hilarious, and it was so wrong. It thinks we're upset. It thinks we're upset that Indiana didn't play well in 2022. What? All right, AI is not going to take over and kill us all. Yeah.
They won the Big Ten championship. They're 6-0.
We got one more year.
Trying to become 7-0. That year in '67, they ended up winning 9 games, won the conference.
Corey, AI is going to hear you say that. Take it back. For your own safety. We still got Raiola out there. Where's my lighter and lighter fluid?
Another good play by Terry Jones Jr.
This front seven has been terrific today. They've been able to put pressure on Raiola.
Of all the stubborn
blitz from the second level without
like, what is he doing?
The coverage down the field. Raiola just does not have anywhere to
Any
go.
quarter, Tom Brady would have just ran through. They had good protection. He ran a lot of those off the block. He had a whole gap to run as close to the first down as he could and slide. There's an invisible barrier that he just, like a force field, that he gets too close to the line of scrimmage. It starts like electrocuting him.
You think his ankle's the problem, or you think it was already
No,
like
I think
that?
his brain is the problem. Like, he doesn't... He's just not developed enough yet, man. Like, he doesn't recognize everything. Nothing's there. I'm going to take whatever yards I can get. And instead of constantly being in third and long or second and long, I'm going to get things more second and third and manageable. No, okay, 3rd and 3. So if he would have ran for even 4 of the 12 yards that was wide open for him to run on that last play and slid, we'd be on 1st and 10 right now. And he wouldn't have got tackled around his ankles that's already supposedly hurt. That's just that play.
We got 2 in the backfield. I think one of them is Barney. Oh, nice little soft throw to Banks.
That was a ballsy throw, man. That was accurate.
Yep.
Found a soft spot. He'll gain 14 on 3rd and 3.
Yeah, Jeff, that's what I'm saying. Every pass is like whatever's the closest to him. And maybe, like, unfortunately, the way they show these camera angles, like, all you see is the pocket and him. So it's hard to see if there's more open or what they're doing route-wise. It's just, it's insane, man.
He's 19. 1st and 10 at the 37. Raiola again.
Raiola over to Ramir, who falls.
Can't even get going.
Yeah.
Gains 4 on the play. Isaiah Jones, linebacker, with the tackle.
And again, Nebraska just having to use so much clock all day long. If they've been able to drive, it's been 10+ plays and just no explosive plays available to them. It's a real strategy.
Raiola out to
Barney.
Maybe 1 yard.
That's it.
Good thing he didn't stay inside and gain 3 or 4. You cut right back into the guy. When you get tackled by the dude being blocked,
another chance to get off the field for Bryant Haynes, their defensive.
you probably didn't make the right decision as in what angle you were going to take.
To prevent the big play, the explosive play. We've seen that all day long. Linebackers in position, safeties in position, making tackles and making life difficult on Nebraska. Now remember, not a traditional 3rd down here.
3 and 4.
Nebraska would go for it on 4th, even if they don't get it.
I love you find this 2-yard route.
At the 43.
Let's go 1 yard since there's only 4 to get. Uh-oh. Good little evasion into an interception. Giggity, giggity, giggity. Get him out of there.
I would have pulled him out at halftime because it's not catastrophic yet. He hasn't started throwing picks or taking too many unnecessary hits.
35-7.
He's thrown 2 picks. And
is it possible?
This is how you ruin young quarterbacks. This is how you ruined Adrian Martinez. It's how you ruined Taylor Martinez. Like, they come out and look amazing, but like, he didn't want to. There's people talking about him transferring. He didn't want to go to Georgia or Ohio State and have to compete or risk being redshirted. He wanted to come in and play right away. But you're seeing now why it's so important to be able to redshirt quarterbacks and a lot of offensive linemen. There's so much more cerebral aspects to the game that you have to be around the game at this level with this kind of talent for a period of time before you can just go second nature, execute it. You can sit there and watch film and give the right answers to your coordinators and your coaches, but when bullets are flying, and this goes back to kind of what we were talking about after the spring game when he looked good, it's like, yep, it's still not the same thing. And even once it gets going and teams can game plan for you and try to confuse you with things or start to pick apart your weaknesses or take things away or give you things you're not comfortable with, that's where you kind of separate the talent level. Like, physically, nobody's questioning that. But I mean, the little shit from not taking what they give you when nothing's open and getting down. You could take no contact and make them have to start worrying, or not, but at least keep the drives moving by getting what little yards are there. Understanding in the pre-reads where you're going like that. I mean, he had a first down before that, but the pressure is what caused that. Like, he had to wait, roll, and then as he's throwing, run in that direction, that's where that one came from. But it's like there's just so many little things that you see that it's not surprising. It's not shocking coming from a true freshman, but that's where he needs that time. Or you're going to have to deal with games like this if he's going to try and learn it real time. But when the ceiling starts falling in on you like that, and it goes from a bad game to a horrible game where you're throwing picks, taking a lot of hits, that shit's going to go with you into the next week. You think it's going to get easier against Ohio State? Like, you're going to do a lot of damage to this dude's confidence, man, and his development.
I hear all that. So this question is going to sound terrible now. But is it possible that this could be a good thing for his development? Let me explain.
I mean,
we've all got
if it goes the other way of what I just said, yeah. Like if he takes this, but if he takes this game,
it humbles him. Not that he needed humbled. I'm not saying he's not arrogant.
No, I think the coaches need that.
Someone needs a humbling. I know you do, but
he needs to watch this stuff and go, "Oh shit, I can run on these plays and help
for the Hoosiers
keep these drives alive."
Jackson gonna throw
make these reads quicker.
They're gonna take a flare route, maybe to the hizzy, almost. Wow.
I think we got all the secondary in though, don't we? Or the second string in.
Second stringers.
Gifford. Oh, Robinson, Gifford, all in. Never mind.
They're all back in.
He'll gain 35.
Yeah, I mean, if he's able to pick up on things like that or have that help him, but I don't know. I think it's more likely when you line up against Ohio State, the pressure is going to be as bad, if not worse. The coverage is going to be better. And you're not going to be carefree, loose like you were the first couple games against UTEP and UNI and Colorado when you got all day to sit there and pick apart secondaries.
Trace Jackson Davis.
By the way,
whoa, that's Trace Jackson Davis's brother. That's sick.
Like this IU team, the rest of today, they're going to have the
undersized center for the Golden State Warriors. If you don't know,
Warriors
on the outside, trying to throw those
was a rookie last year.
Playmakers. Nebraska better buckle up. This could get real messy.
Here's the pitch.
Oh, a halfback throw! A terrible throw. Are you sure that's the halfback you want throwing the ball? Bro, my wife throws a better spiral than that, and she's literally barely 5 feet tall.
Oh, my goodness.
Little knuckleball there.
He had him, though, didn't he? I mean, Surratt was wide open. Ellison's laughing back. Look, he's stretching out his arm. I don't think that was you weren't warmed up, man. I just don't think you can throw.
Homecoming weekend here at Indiana. He's got to get his arm a little loose, Joel.
Hey, you know the bad part? You get one shot.
One, and he'll never get.
Do you really think they're going to bring Raiola back out again?
Down and 9.
No idea at this point, man.
Jackson under pressure.
Jackson throws. What a throw! Bro, that was crazy. The catch, the throw was great. The catch was just unbelievable. Over his head, like Willie Mays Hayes. Look at that!
Unbelievable.
Tutty!
What a catch.
Wow.
What a catch, man. I'm telling you, this is what experience gives you. He goes to JMU last year. He was sensational.
I cannot wait to hear Matt Rhule's postgame.
All Sun Belt.
He's going to look like, you know that look he has after we lose where he looks like he's punch drunk? He's going to be punch drunk, bro.
Over-the-shoulder catch. It's October, folks, and we've got a Willie
He's going to be like
in
when Joe Rogan climbed in the ring and interviewed Conor McGregor with his legs snapped behind his body.
FCS All-American as a freshman.
Maybe that's how they'll interview him. Maybe they'll come over and sit down on the sideline with him and be like,
he'll
Matt.
just be laid out.
Yeah. The Big Ten because he's having a wonderful year. And so are the Hoosiers.
So the real reason I think they pulled Rourke is just because of his thumb. I think he wasn't throwing the ball normal, and they're just protecting him. Kind of like we should have been doing with it's Mickey Rourke's son.
Let's take a horrible situation for your true freshman quarterback and just see if we can get it to be worse. Because that's how you develop really good, confident quarterbacks.
Did you put any money down on this game?
I put $1,000 on Raiola throwing 2 interceptions.
No, you didn't, bitch.
No, I don't gamble.
That's true. I shouldn't even ask, man. It's a stupid question. Trey said, I agree about hopping on the Indiana bandwagon. That's what AI should be saying right now. The chat is considering becoming Indiana fans. If you had to blame what's going on one thing, what would it be?
Mainly execution.
A nice umbrella term.
I mean, offense and defense both. Usually it's offense. I feel like the offense.
But you narrow it down. Execute. Narrow it down to one thing.
Execution.
That's not one thing. That's everyone.
That's 100% what it is.
That's everyone. I'm not looking.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be one person. I'm just thinking for
Corey Barney's socks are too tall. Is that specific for you?
Now you're getting it.
Make you feel better.
Now you're getting it. All right. I blame the game being at 11. If this is a 7 o'clock game, we're up 42-7. No, not believable. Didn't think it would be. I'll ask the chat like I did with our son's channel. Anyone get their hands on a Wendy's Krabby Patty yet? I know you have. You can't stop slamming them.
No, sir.
But I want to hear from them.
'48, leading them to their first Big Ten championship and only undefeated season in 1945. He was the first African-American to be drafted into the NFL when he was selected by the Bears in 1949. And after football, he got his master's degree in social work from the greatest school in the history of planet Earth, Howard University, and eventually returned to Bloomington as a professor.
He's spoken like a true alum right there.
That's a great
also
point,
the Vice
man.
President of the United States,
What?
by the way.
Trey said Indiana looks exactly how we want Nebraska to look. Yeah. I think we'll be there in a year or two. Sucks to wait, but as long as progress is going, I'm happy. I mean, this doesn't feel like progress, but...
I mean, Indiana just doesn't make mistakes.
So,
there's nothing spectacular. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, God, you just can't do it. But, I mean, they don't have...
At a basketball game, I called that basketball game.
Every offensive defensive play, we've got at least 3 or 4 guys out of position, not running a crisp route, not hanging onto a clean block, not taking the right angle, playing too soft, playing too far on the inside or outside, depending on what they're in the secondary. And then that's where that's where we get attacked a lot, is right where those like lapses are at. And it's like they just don't have that.
I said, that man is crazy, thinking that he's going to come to Indiana and do that.
Raiola is still in the game, Gary.
Let's take another listen to what he said before he talked to me.
What are we doing?
But this is him at the basketball game before the season started, when he just got the job.
I've never taken a back seat.
All right, we don't need to listen to White Dion, all right? He's had his say. Oh, man. I'm actually upset with Rhule for putting Raiola back out there. He throws it. Nice catch.
Out of bounds.
I think it might be out of bounds, though, right?
Marines, and especially the Buckeyes, who are off, are watching this game.
Well, I'll just tell you, like, we asked him about that, and he said, I was tired, number one, because of the whole day, and then he was like, and you know what? I was pissed off. And it comes off in that clip, and he was mad because he got here, and he got the same question over and over. How are you going to do this here? How are you going to, this is Indiana. We don't win here. No one wins here. How are you going to do that? And he was like, hey, man, I'm here to win. And that's what you saw is that raw emotion. We saw some of that raw emotion yesterday when we met with him. That's the way he lives his life. He coaches this team.
Didn't his whole entire body land out of bounds?
That's what it looked like. And you're allowed to push him out, right?
Yeah.
You know, he gets all these guys to come up from JMU, all these transfers that come up, and his philosophy in the transfer portal has completely transformed to this roster. This is a damn good football team. They are hammering Nebraska today. I'm going to review this potential catch from Lloyd. I think that
oh my God. Oh my God. And that's Lloyd out there doing that. I love it.
See if that entire hand is
his hand touched first.
Yeah, that's in. That's completion.
Oh my gosh. I've never seen that before. Have you?
I mean, I've done it to you 4 or 5 times.
I've seen you do it.
Yeah.
Right. Signet told reporters, and when you're used to success and you've been on campus all day and you detect some things you don't really like, it kind of gets under your skin a little bit. And we are in the entertainment business. This is entertainment. It's coaching, but it's entertainment. And I tell you what, he is putting out an entertaining squad on the field right now.
I wholly agree with that, Brian. Like, I think moving to the Big Ten was the biggest mistake we ever made. I understand why they did it.
After review, the receiver's hand came down in bounds. It is a catch. It will be first.
Even he sounds surprised. It is a catch. Like, I ain't never seen that either.
And that's what I just want to continue to stress is like this is not smoke and mirrors.
I mean, how long have we been in the Big Ten?
And listen, I loved this
long
TCU
time.
Team.
Can't get it right. Can't compete.
Not really a good.
This feels even more real
anymore,
than that
right?
Max
Like, I
Duggan
get when you're
TCU
built
team
for the
from
Big 12 and
2022.
move to the
The
Big
reason is that
Ten.
TCU
You're
team was
getting
just
punched
in
in
a
the
number
throat.
of
But how many
tight
coaches
one-score
and teams
games
have we been through?
just
They
eking
can't
them
get it
out.
figured
This team
out.
is hammering folks.
Raiola almost throws in an
But once again,
interception
because there's a body squared up facing him, he throws it to a dude
who's 2 yards. Yeah.
not accurate, mind you, who's 3 yards past the line of scrimmage, not on the run where he has momentum to go, has his back to a defender that's coming full speed down. Like, that's the type of shit I'm talking about. That and like the running when nothing's there and sliding. Or starting his scramble in the pocket earlier when shit is breaking down. Like, he's got to get figured out.
Quick throw, quick sidearm, 6-7 yards.
So see how much cushion they leave, but instantly start breaking on the receiver. They're almost always hitting guys with their backs to them. Where we leave a cushion, wait for a dude to catch it, and then he turns up and already has momentum and ability to start making moves before they're engaged and trying to tackle.
Like every time.
Every time.
And sometimes in this profession, you just got to bet on yourself. And you know what? Maybe in life, sometimes you got to bet on yourself, and that's what he did. And
hand off, maybe 2 yards. And we're going to go into the fourth quarter down here.
Sometimes in life, you got to look yourself in the mirror and you got to bet on yourself. And that's exactly what that
brutal.
Signet.
Brutal.
A few years later, he's here at Indiana. They got a
man. Effing brutal. Can we just forfeit this fourth quarter and next week? You might as well start noshing some food now. Nosh some hot dogs like Frank Reynolds.
I made some chili.
Live Free says Satterfield must go. Do you think anyone gets reprimanded after this loss? Because I don't think they will. If this sort of thing continues, I think something like that could happen. But I don't, you know what I mean? You're 5-2 now. You don't fire anyone at 5-2. That's insanity, man. I don't know that I believe that Satterfield's the guy. I'm just not mad at him. Is that weird?
No.
Like
I wish I knew more of the workings of, like, is this 100% him?
Yeah, how much say does he have?
like to the extent of everything, like to where everything's going to be a short check down route. Every run's going to be pretty basic. Or is it like, I don't know. I mean, you can watch his offenses in other places. He wants to play PlayStation with offense.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm just like, what are we doing? Like, there's deep routes, or there's mesh routes further downfield, or there's comeback routes, or just there's a variety of routes and things that are meant to be bigger explosive plays because that's what he wants to do. But every single pass is like, I'm not saying this is the case, but it comes off like Raiola's only worried about his completion percentage. Down there, Gabe.
I never thought of it like that. That's why you would be doing it.
No, I'm not saying he is doing it. I'm saying it looks like it. Like that's what the offense consists of. That's what the passing game consists of, is just very basic checkdowns that are, little flare outs or short crossing routes. That's it. There's nothing else to throw to.
Rusty, Nebraska looks like they're at a Diddy party right now. What do you mean invited to one? They're experiencing one right now in front of all of us. Bad boy, baby. Type shit, Gary.
Type shit.
You know?
I think Rutgers is going to lose to UCLA, bro.
Really?
Looking like it.
Well, hopefully UCLA isn't figuring anything out.
Don't you worry.
By the time we get to them. Yours says, open the playbook, all Hail Marys. You got to turn it on to see live free. But yeah, maybe first time Ohio State scores, you just turn it off and go about your Saturday. Try to enjoy your life a little bit.
The All-American girl, Jenny Taft, with you. Big
Yep,
game for
UCLA scored a
This
game.
may be the biggest game they've had here in a long time.
Yeah, long time.
Again,
They
guys.
some really good teams like the COVID year with Michael Penix as their quarterback. But this certainly feels real. Look what they did in the third quarter. An important quarter. They're up. They want to go out and make a statement. It's exactly what they did. Only had the ball for 2 minutes.
4th and 2.
On their offense, but scored 14 points.
4th down and 2.
And we'll go ahead and
Offsides on the offense.
make some mistakes here.
Offensive offsides.
Offensive offsides, people, another double O.
Remains 4th down.
You know?
It's Bryce Benhart. He's their most experienced guy up front. 47 games he's played in, most by a Nebraska offensive lineman. Super senior. And a guy that they were really relying on this year. And this has just not gone right today. And Nebraska knew that this was an incredibly important day for them, their program, this rebuild under Matt Rhule.
Fred says Scott Frost's team wouldn't have lost this way. I disagree. This is the type of stuff
This is
that
very
was
Scott Frost.
yeah.
Clock winding down on 4th down and 7. Timeout.
And that is still a very bad thing.
But only the second year, as you mentioned, Joel, for Coach Rhule.
Yours says Benhart's super overrated. I think the whole offensive line just got exposed. But yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I don't hear a lot of people saying he's great. Do you?
No, I mean.
So some of this I'm seeing here in replays, like ever since he turned his ankle, it's almost like he's seeing ghosts or just absolutely does not want to hurt that ankle again. So he's just like, I better throw this quick. I don't want to get in a situation where I have to run. I don't want to get in a situation where I might get hit. 4th and 7, folks. This better be the last play we see Raiola unless he converts.
Raiola looking for that first down.
Throws it behind Fedoni.
Intended for Fedoni.
Incomplete. Take your helmet off, Raiola. Take your shoulder pads off. Take your socks off. Take your cup out of your pants.
You've got a safety right there that go and undercut those seam routes, and there's nowhere to go with the football.
He actually had him even though he was double covered.
Raiola tries to fit that into a tight window. It's behind.
He just surprisingly threw it behind him.
Quite lucky that that one wasn't intercepted by D'Angelo Pons.
And Joel, please finish your story on the pathway.
Oh, man, come on.
On this drive.
Well, Signet,
yeah, he's got to get at least 2 more tutties.
Is because he was a recruiting coordinator for Alabama. And here's the deal, inside football a little bit. If you're really good at being a recruiting coordinator, the head coach doesn't want to make you the offensive coordinator because you're already great at recruiting. But you can't become, and this is what he was doing at Alabama.
Brandon, I don't think he's benched, but I think they'll finally see the light of the wisdom in taking him out.
Unsportsmanlike on the opposite side, obviously not happy. Our very own Mark Ingram, who ended up winning a Heisman Trophy. They win a national championship.
Who got it? Who got the penalty? Was it our coach or theirs?
To offensive coordinator because he's such a great recruiter.
Their coach looks pretty.
To be a head coach,
pretty calm,
chill, yeah.
So he thought to himself,
he looks like he's up 35.
Wait, IUP is going to give me a chance to be a head coach? Done.
Me
Put
too,
the
Flex.
chips in the middle of the table. Let's go see if I can do it. And guess what? This guy is one hell of a head coach.
First down and
hand off. Nice little stop there.
Black. And what he also said was yesterday when we met with him, he said, I didn't want to be 58 years old and still an assistant.
Yeah, and all he does is win. So he took what he learned as an assistant, and he went to IUP, they won. He goes to Elon, they win. He's coach of the year. He goes to JMU, they win. You know, and
his dad coached at IUP as well.
Yeah.
And at West Virginia as the head coach.
He got the job at IUP 5 years after his father, Frank. You know, but now this guy, you know,
2nd and 6, couple guys in motion.
With him, so this staff at Indiana has largely
flipping the play.
Since really his days at
hand off up the gut.
Justice Ellison.
He'll grab another 4 yards.
Weren't with us for Indiana. Their starting quarterback, Curtis Rourke, has not played.
Looking good, guys. Looking good.
So
bone-led, corn-fed. Says JMU must be awesome, or they must be terrible because apparently they brought Super Bowl-worthy talent over to Indiana and depleted them.
Isn't as bad as it looked. They're down.
They're still tearing it up this year, ain't they?
I don't know.
James Madison? Pretty sure.
First down.
Let's go downstairs to Jen with more.
Well, unfortunately, first for Curtis Rourke, they don't provide more updates on his status.
At least we got some backups in here now,
but I can tell you they have added it a little bit more. That right thumb, obviously, he was dealing with that bleeding in the first half, but his spirits obviously remain good. But we see the score as well. He's a happy guy right now. And just quickly, a little bit more to add on Signet. I thought it was so interesting in talking to one of the veterans, Mike Kadek, who obviously was here for the ups and downs. And the word he used was swagger. He obviously loved the fact that his coach walked around with this confidence, and specifically about those
hand off, burst of speed. Charles gets ran over at the goal line, bro. That looked like me tackling back in 8th grade, bro.
Told me about their new head coach. He said, I don't care if we upset guys with our
run over.
His words, he believed we could back it up. And boy, Indiana football, they're backing it up today.
How about this? And you wouldn't know if coach.
Man, bro.
48-7.
Can we start the game over, or could we just reset?
You don't want to play this again.
That's true. That's true.
It ain't going to go no different.
Today. What a fire.
Dude, this is going to absolutely crush
Coach Signetti is lit.
The psyche of that entire team, because you know it's going to be a repeat next week.
Program.
They're going to come off being all gassed up. We're ranked. Nah, I'm not talking about this week. I'm talking about before Illinois. You can make excuses and, oh, it's overtime and one loss, didn't play good and still managed to be in overtime against a ranked team. And you can't explain these 2 ass whoopings in a row that you're about to have coming off of a bye. You had the most time to prep for this game than you did any other game.
So you're saying bring Frost back?
That or Riley.
Ooh, he was a nice guy.
Guess we'd be getting ice cream after the game.
He's a sweetheart. You know? Motzilla said Rhule is terrible after a bye week. Is he? I didn't know that was a running thing, but guess it wouldn't surprise me. Man, what a beatdown. I don't think you would have believed me, man, if I told you this was going to happen before the game. Like, would you?
No.
Yeah, this is outrageous. Like, it hasn't even really set in how bad it is, but that's how strong of an ass whooping it is. I'm dazed and confused.
Ish strong.
All right.
Ish strong.
This would be the perfect time to kick a field goal if you could get into range.
This guy's worried about field goals.
Well, you got to start somewhere with fixing that problem, man. I'm about fixing problems, all right?
Well, newsflash, you've got way bigger problems than your field goal kicking now. That's probably Foley's probably like, thank God, dude, I can get a whole week without people ripping my ass.
On to finish 9-2, winning the Big Ten championship, 49-7. Yes, folks, 49-7. Indiana,
man,
beating
This
Nebraska.
is about to get housed. All right.
Is that Ives? Was that Quentin Ives back there?
What number was it?
28.
We're actually going to have an Ives sighting.
Just having their way with Nebraska. Whatever they want to do. Either side of the ball.
53,082 sellout crowd in attendance. Their record crowd, 56,000.
Kicks picked at the 5.
In 1969.
Yeah, that's Ives' tall ass. Ives!
Advanced
Nice
all the way
return.
40 up to the 44-yard line.
He just has
Won that
such
game 44 to
short
21.
strides for how
I
tall
have
he
a
is. It
feeling
looks
that
funny.
record may be broken
Yeah.
this year. Here's today's Aflac trivia question, sponsored by Aflac. Get help with
Who was the
expenses,
last
health
Indiana player
insurance
to win
doesn't
Big
cover with
Ten
Aflac.
Offensive
Who was
Player
the
of the
last
Year?
Indiana player to win Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year? That's probably Anthony Thompson.
Randall L.
Thomas, excuse me, running back.
I don't know.
I was thinking of that, or gosh, wasn't there like a slash type player? And I'm
Harburg
Antoine Randall
keeps it. Says, I haven't played in a while. I think I'm going to go ahead and keep this.
Scrambling.
Nice run.
He's like, hey, let me show you guys something.
That's tough.
If we run, I was right. It was Randall L.
Antoine Randall L.
Wow.
There we are.
Wow.
He was a slash in the NFL.
I guess this game wasn't a total loss, huh?
Nope.
2001. Look at
It was
this.
worth the drubbing.
Harburg's like, hey, coach, can I go in and show him if we try to run this way,
2,628 total
better
yards
things
and
might
first-team
happen?
All-American.
No, you don't want. You want me to do the side-to-side thing still?
I'm
How about throwing?
Raiola is back out there.
That his injury is not serious because, and obviously he's not going to be out here playing for accolades.
He's getting work, man. What are you worried about?
At halftime, like if you're talking about the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year. Here
I mean,
basically
what's the
middle of
worst
the
that's going to
season,
happen?
He's in the conversation. There's no doubt about it. So
Someone rolls up his ankle and it goes from a light sprain to a serious one.
Then what? Then we get a whole week of
No, I mean, you'd be.
of Harburg.
If that
nobody's
ankle
game plan
goes
for.
from bad to worse, he could be out for a month. Bro.
At the 33,
Okay.
He could be out.
Raiola.
And what? Our playoff window closes?
Ooh, nice throw and catch from
Yard line.
Fedoni.
That's Fedoni again. He's had a terrific game.
So here's what you see from Raiola. High highs, low lows. Watch him step up in the pocket and then off platform deliver an incredible ball to Fedoni, who's down the field, number 24. So he steps up and then across his...
That was a great throw. That was a great throw.
Stepping up in the pocket and throwing farther than 3 yards.
And it was across his body, and it led his court. Indiana wants a timeout.
You calling the timeout, 49-7. Our score.
Before everybody starts with the "where's this been all game," they're probably on like their third string.
I think we've seen some of that today, right? I mean, we've seen some of those throws that make you come out of your seat, and you're like, "Oh, there it is." That's exactly why he was who he was in recruiting. And then there are times you're like, "Oh yeah, that's the true freshman mistakes," and that's understandable. Moving forward, the challenge for Nebraska, their coaching staff.
He's getting his ass ripped
and Dylan Raiola himself is to just try to clean up those mistakes.
For what?
You know, because
for throwing it farther than 3 yards to check down route, stepping up in the pocket.
I told you drags only.
Yeah, drags and crosses only. And quit moving around in the pocket like you've got some goddamn mobility. You stand still.
And it might be a
you try to spin backwards and run.
You ever seen the Statue of Liberty? Do that.
First down and goal at the 5. Raiola sprinting out of the pocket, throws on the move.
Oh, baby, and it pops out of Banks' bread basket, man. He had it.
Jameer Johnson. Tell you what, we're talking a lot about this Indiana offense, but this defense pretty good too.
Yeah, they are, and especially when the officials will let you get away with just a blatant hold, which Jameer Johnson got away with right there. I mean, good coverage, but
there's still 11 minutes to go.
Receiver and the official doesn't call it, which was right in front
Say
of
what?
Officiating this year. It's just
there's still 11 minutes to go in this game, bro.
Yeah, dude. By the way.
Raiola.
Oh my God! Yeah. A little bit long on that pass. He did get one hand on it. That would have been
faster. Did you see him like almost stop, like he was gonna jump?
Yeah.
Like, I can't jump that high.
Like my friend Sean McDonough, who kills the officials all the time. My brother
to that point.
Start to sound like Sean.
Oh man, Raiola just out of the hands, out of the reach of Jamal Banks there. Had him open.
Just hit him twice now with drops, essentially.
Third down and goal at the 5. Here's a handoff.
Handoff and stuffed. Ives gets stuffed.
Who was that was blocking?
Stuffed.
Plugging up, dropping him. A loss of 1 brings up 4th down and goal.
Man, we've called
and by blocking,
times,
I mean being an added person to get slammed into Ives.
Undersized for the interior. He's only about 280 pounds, but man, he plays hard. Very productive player.
Is Mazuka or Evans, right?
Yeah, I didn't see it.
I'm gonna need you to start watching.
At the 6.
Told you I'm dazed and confused with this L. With this beating.
Bye-bye.
And he is swarmed. Woo! Kamara with another sack. Indiana. All business.
Probably a fight because of the way he got up off of Raiola. He was like pinning him down.
It should be.
On the season in his first year at IU.
So I personally
Fox won't show any of it.
I know. I was gonna say it, but I knew I'd get chastised. I really wanted a field goal there. You know me. You know I wanted a field goal there. If anything, we have to get our fat ass long snapper opportunities to not snap the ball down into the dirt.
Are you? It's just, it makes more sense to try to get Raiola's confidence up in that situation by getting a touchdown, putting it in, than it does the kicker or the snapper. The snapper had a bad snap on the punt where what's his name had to run right to catch it almost off the ground and then shanked it off his foot because he couldn't just catch it and go. Like, that's a lost cause, man. That's special teams ain't getting fixed this year. It is what it is.
Like, there's going to come a time in a game that we can win where we need a field goal. And it's going to be weeks since we've attempted one.
But a field goal in a blowout game from 4 yards out isn't going to get you right for hitting a pressure 30-some yard game-winning field goal. It's a moot point. It's like, hey, man, hit this body bag for 2 minutes. This black belt in jiu-jitsu up the streets on his way. He's going to fight you. You want to make sure you're ready for the fight. It's like, you're not doing anything, man.
$20 dono from our guy living in Omaha. Thank you, man. So still appreciate you guys doing the stream and enduring this disaster. We've been through worse.
Yeah.
We've been through worse.
I'm a Bills fan and a Spurs fan the last few years. Ain't been nice. And
I mean, just think about the Huskers. I think, think about the L's we've taken back in the day. Yeah.
What are you most disappointed in from this game? What's the biggest takeaway for you that's like the most concerning?
The difference in physicality. I feel like those dudes are out there hitting hard and we're out there like soft from the bye week. Ball
and not like, yeah.
You know, like this looks like Scott Frost's defense that didn't practice tackling. That's what's upsetting. What's upsetting to me. Like we didn't call Ty Robinson or Nash Hutmacher one time this game to be like, "Ooh, look at him get through the line. Look at him." That's actually what I said would be the difference. I said, which defense is going to show up? Are we going to get the UNI defense? Are we going to get the Illinois defense? Or are we going to get the good Huskers? Guess which one showed up?
Yep.
Dylan, Raiola, growing pains for this Nebraska team as well. First down and 10 at the 15 for IU. 10:31 to go in the fourth. They're not finished, folks.
Hand off.
Black.
2, maybe 3 yards. Keep that clock running.
Yeah. Like a lot. I feel like this is. I feel like we've already watched a game and a half.
Dude, you said there's 11 minutes left like 4 hours ago, and there's 10 minutes left right now.
The only group, Gus, really on the entire team that they didn't go heavy on transfers was the offensive line. 4 of these guys returned from a year ago: Smith, Evans, Kadick, and Lynch. They're on the left side. Then
appreciate you, Shy Man.
They brought in from Wisconsin. They also, Gus, kept the offensive line coach from a year ago, Bob Bostad. He was a holdover on
play action
from Wisconsin under Paul Chryst.
Quarterback going to get out onto the edge and probably grab that first down and get out of bounds.
Like, why can't Raiola just do stuff like that?
He totally transformed.
It's not even a thought in his head.
And he packed his bags. They might not have been Louis like Deion Sanders, but they were Samsonite for sure. And reliable and experienced. 80 combined starts by the transfers. That's the most in FBS. 27 of those transfer players.
Oh, no, man. I mean, you're still losing this game even if he's doing it. I'm just saying that's one of the things that's
really good, all-conference caliber players.
A problem for me.
At their teams. And
the defense.
They have just. They've been
like
sensational.
This is all going on tape for everybody that's about to play you to see what's capable of their so-called power defense. You know what I mean? Like they've been able to play a half of football on offense and be in games until they decide to put a couple good drives together because of the defense. And like getting exposed like that. And to your point, you can change that. You can get more physical, or I mean, it's up to them if they're going to do it or not. But
it has not affected this offense.
Teams are going to just pick you apart like that, and you don't have any answers for anything. Like,
excellent football behind a really solid offensive line, and then these skilled position players that have made a lot of plays.
Rourke keeping that right hand in his pocket. Now Horton with running room.
Good
Look
luck.
at what Rourke was able to do early in this game. High-profile matchup. We're here, big game. He was excellent. These back shoulder fades early in the game.
Man, that's a crazy throw and catch.
Allowing his wide receivers to make adjustments, which they did.
This ball placement, man.
Buford just never, ever looks for the ball.
Right there. James Williams comes in on the rush. There's a picture of that hand, that thumb all beat up, and he did not come out and play in this second half. So they gave the ball to Taven Jackson, and Taven Jackson, he took that ball and he ran with it because this offense hasn't slowed down in the second half.
Here's the big run by Green.
Run up the gut here for 7.
Quarterback Colorado. When I look at your hands now, you got all
he
kinds
should,
of
GC. I mean, you know.
Got busted up. How long does it take to recover from an injury
if I'm
like
Harburg,
So
I'm switching my position
injury
to something that could potentially get me
you
drafted.
Get that real good,
Not that that's possible, but it ain't going to happen at quarterback. We all know that.
You can't take a shot because then you can't feel your hand at that point, and you need touch, and you got to feel that ball come off of the index finger, and you got to feel that ball in your thumb. Your thumb is responsible for ball security. So, those things are huge.
Hand off.
I think
first down.
Like a terrible injury, like a torn ligament.
We're inside 7 minutes.
Of injuries that you can play through.
There's something to cheer for.
Certainly the worst.
UCLA
because
picked
there's
off
nothing you can do
Rutgers.
for it medically. You just have to kind of
minutes
grin and
left. That's
bear
about
it
to be a
and play
wrap.
through it.
How long does it take to heal?
Is there any other Big Ten games really going? Really cruising?
Then at least 2.5
like
weeks
that, no.
before you feel good again. Now, I'm sure he'll play. It won't shock me, Gus, if he has a glove on that hand next week, and then it just comes down to like, can you
3rd and 3
throw the ball accurately with a glove? Some guys can, some guys struggle with it.
Mickey Rourke's backup, Tavares Jackson Jr.
Really solid.
Oh my God, he just dropped it.
Anderson
Could be 4th and 3.
Couldn't hold on.
I hope he lines up and goes for it.
Yeah, they're going to go for it. Why wouldn't they?
For a long time. And now the first punt.
Oh, they're going to punt. Holy cow.
James Evans.
All right. $5 bet. I'll let you pick. Rhule come back out or not.
I don't know, man.
You got to pick one. I don't know.
I think he comes back out.
And it's caught at the 15.
I think he comes back out.
By Garcia Castaneda. And he
Poor Garcia Castaneda getting blown up for no reason.
Continuing for this team. This time it's Kobe.
At this point, I don't want to see Daniel Kalen. I really don't.
Nah.
Because it's not enough. He's not going to get enough experience in 1 drive or 2 drives.
I want to see old Luke Longley.
Yeah? Good old long ball Luke.
My guy, Luke Longball.
Has he already redshirted?
Former Chicago Bull, Luke Longley.
Yeah, he had all of his college eligibility for football.
Mm-hmm. That's why we brought him in. The chat's so fun.
Why?
Just the so highly emotional responses every week. Like when we're looking good, how good this guy is.
They're like, we'll never
what's
die.
gonna happen. It's not everybody. It's just, and it's a mix. I'm sure it's not a ton of wish-wash. It's just people talking different times, but it's just funny. You'd think we're about to be 2-5 instead of 5-2.
Yeah.
I mean, this is horrible. Don't get me wrong. And you're getting exposed as you're starting to play better teams. You're showing you're not nearly as good as you thought maybe you could be at the beginning of the year. There was a lot of people that were. I mean, I told you that I was like, we ain't going to be 7-0 against Ohio State. I didn't think we'd have 2 losses. I thought we'd have for sure. I was very confident we'd have 1. I didn't think we'd lose like this, though. But still, it's like You go from the longest bowl drought in the nation. You're not going to, within 1 or 2 years, be whatever a lot of people were thinking, the Kool-Aid type people were thinking after those first couple weeks. It's just not, I don't know.
That bye week was not our friend. I'm not saying it's the bye week's fault. I'm just saying it did not help.
I'll tell you.
But you'll tell me, though.
I wouldn't say, yeah, you're right. I would say they didn't do the right things, or Indiana had a bye week too.
As a kid, I used to have the Mario Andretti Indy car. I think it was black and gold. I want to say.
Dylan's back out there.
No, it was a Mario Andretti car. First down and tip.
You owe me $5.
Wow, a tipped interception
I said,
immediately.
Wow.
This time,
man.
I said, wow, this couldn't get any worse. If I was Raiola, I'd fake an injury. I'd be like, oh, ankle's too bad. I can't go back in.
Right.
Like, what are we doing here?
With the deflection, and here's the schedule.
Of course, the first play is the shortest, most lateral screen or quick throw you can come up with. Nothing.
And at Michigan State, you know, you look at
when I asked earlier,
when
people were talking about Satterfield, that's honestly why I was asking.
Every game but one. I think
because I was like, if you asked me to make an argument for you,
no doubt,
over why Satterfield won't work, that's what I would go to.
Let's put it to you this way.
I don't feel like there's enough
Ohio State games in our career.
Attacking different areas of the field, and not just the levels, not just short, medium, deep, but like
nice run.
Jackson first down.
What's the flag? Did they hold a block?
Was doing this to Nebraska today after Nebraska started 5-1. We'd be like, oh, this is one of the best teams in the country. You know, and IU needs to be extended that exact same. This is the hold there on the outside.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
Maybe he didn't let it go in time. I don't feel like he was holding it back, or you know what I mean.
Dominated the game. Gus, they're going to be looking to go over 500 yards of total offense. They've got almost 480 currently, and per play, 8.7 yards per play. That's up there with like the best offenses in the sport historically. Like the great OU offenses with Baker Mayfield, they were 8.5 yards per play. Like this Indiana offense is excellent. And they're doing this against a defense that came in the top
hand off
defense in college football.
Gonna grab a good 5 yards.
A good and 5. I'll grab back, dude.
All right.
I still kind of don't understand, Joel, how a man could come.
I agree, Silver Cloak. It would be fine. Just
struggling for wins.
Just hurts in the moment, man. We won't be fine next week. We'll get another beatdown. So we're gonna have to go through this again.
In the previous 3 years before Signet arrived, this season was tied for the fewest in the Power 5 conferences.
Well, they did a couple of things. Their search was correct. Scott Dolson did a great job as their athletic director, and what they targeted and what they wanted to hire.
Couple guys in motion here.
They also started to
gonna throw,
the program, and that's a big part of this.
Over the middle, first down. Man.
Coach Signet was given that opportunity to coach at Alabama with Coach Saban. Won a national championship there, but Coach Signetti's father, Frank, gave Coach Saban an opportunity at West Virginia.
Defense number 32. The penalty is half the distance.
Late hit on the QB.
Coach Signetti's father gave Coach Saban an opportunity as a defensive backs coach when he took over as a head coach at West Virginia way back then.
Yeah. And just to wrap that up, the reason that's a passer, or it's not pass interference, a roughing the passer, is that the quarterback's in a passing posture. You can't hit him low. And that's why the flag came out. Unless you're blocked into the quarterback's legs, you can't go into the legs on your own. That's why that flag came out.
Seriously.
So first down and goal at the
Ohio State is gonna blow the doors off of us.
On Nebraska.
Keep that clock running. Second and goal.
And you look around at some of these coaches around the country that are having success, and it's almost like, hey, you know what? These coaches from lower levels that have a lot of success and they win, they know what they're doing. Kurt Signetti, Kalen DeBoer, Chris Kleiman, They all come to mind. Lance Leipold,
It's true liquidity.
Struggling this year, but they know what they're doing. You know, they know how to go in and build programs and win.
I don't know. I feel like once his ankle got turned, his running, ability was just gone.
Balance of power in college football. Would you say that?
Oh, 100%. Indiana has no ability to do what they're doing this year without.
I think it's his ankle. Handoff.
Green again.
Woo! No resistance. Up the gut.
Easy.
We're going to go up 56-7 on us, baby. Maybe 60. I could see him getting 60. I could see him breaking 60 easy.
That's it. Crimson and cream all day long. Nebraska has given up 5 rushing touchdowns today. They came in having given up 0.
Now, this is a gut punch for Nebraska. Just a gut punch.
Matt Rhule licking his lips as usual.
This is knocking out your teeth. $56-7.
56. There it is.
Nebraska losing their fronts.
Already giving up a 50 burger.
Take a look. They jump out of the frying pan and right into the fire next week in Columbus. And that team down south, they are going to be
Ohio State gonna make a name for themselves next week.
Controversial game in Eugene last week.
And this schedule, maybe other than UCLA, who, by the way, looks like they're going to get a win today.
I mean, that's why I've been saying that
that Rutgers team was 4-2.
I think we made the wrong choice going to the Big Ten. Like, look what we did to Colorado. They're doing well in Big 12 play. We'd be smacking the Big 12, and we get to be like paper tigers again. That'd be better for the program, honestly.
Their defense is going to be called.
Only get smacked like this in a bowl game versus someone that's real.
This was a big game for them because
they'd be like, maybe next year at least we're getting there.
And then they didn't win another game down the stretch. So this is going to be a real pivotal moment for this organization, this young quarterback, and this coaching staff here.
Gotta love how Gary leaves me for like 30 minutes at a time.
Turned up to the 33. Now coming up next on Fox, we've got more great.
Who was that
action.
that just returned the ball?
Squad takes on Arizona.
Elijah Green? No, that's them.
It's K-State.
Oh, that might not even be working though. Gameplay's not up.
Next on Fox. What do you think about your Buffs? Tough loss last week.
I thought they missed a golden opportunity last week, taking the lead late against Kansas State. I thought that the way that game ended in the last 3 minutes, you credit Kansas State for the way that they came back.
Got Herberg and Ives back here.
Colorado their last series was not very good.
Keeper, nice. Run out to the edge for 13, maybe 14.
Pass protection problem for Shedeur Sanders.
Later, live free.
A bunch of times.
Yeah, too many times. And that's he plays a part in that, though. And I think there's some clips out there of Deion Sanders even on the sideline telling him, like, hey, man, you got to throw the ball. The problem is sometimes Shedeur is allergic to incompletions, and sometimes you just got to throw the ball.
3 minutes, 10 seconds left. Got a option. Harburg never even considers pitching the ball. That's one thing I don't love about his running, although it works a lot of times. So it's like, well, you just take what you can get. But he does not have interest in pitching the ball or handing it off. It's keepers. But whatever, doesn't matter.
Well, and by the way, if they were to win every game except for Ohio State, whether they go to Indianapolis or not, they would
hand off
for one of those
couple of yards. Let's see him throw here, shall we? Or
this is
2 runs.
This is what I love about the expanded playoff, man. I love this about the expanded playoff. Indiana fans, this is real. This team is real.
Yo.
They have
They didn't come back?
an opportunity to compete for
they did. They almost did, but then it just fell apart. The refs cheated us while you were gone.
Those damn refs, man.
Number 4, all the top 5 in Indiana. is the next highest ranked team. Came into this game ranked 16th.
Nothing ever goes our way.
You know. Dag nabbit. Oh, man. Golly. I basically got enough sleep for this game. Somehow I tricked myself into going to sleep a little early last night.
You crashed right after you text me?
No, I think I probably went to bed around man, what time is it? I don't know. I think I got 6 hours of sleep, but I still am so tired, bro. This game is not helping.
It's just
brutal.
There's never anything to really get excited or get into, you know what I mean? From the jump. Then we're just taking it right down the field, and scoring was oh, sweet.
You think things could have been different if we didn't have that Ja'Cory Barney mistake and then back it up with that fumble? Or do you not think it works like that?
No. This offense needs a lot of drives to get few points. So, if your defense is going to be... I mean, until they had mercy on us, they didn't even consider punting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Whatever play they wanted to run or call or whatever was working enough to keep the chains moving, to keep their drives going. And it wasn't like we were holding them to field goals on a handful of them. You know what I mean? Where a touchdown is going to make up for 2 field goals type scenarios. It was just touchdown, touchdown, touchdowns. That's a wrap, dude.
Any fears yet with Rhule? Any sort of
What do you mean?
are you questioning Rhule at all on this? Long term.
I've always questioned his, mainly his management, which is he'll tell you that's basically what he does. He manages the game. He lets the guys know what he's wanting to do on offense or defense, but they call the plays and everything. So that's where I go to execution. Guys clearly aren't executing on the vast majority of the plays, but from a management standpoint, are you willing to get off of the whole, we've got to establish the run? You've been saying you got to establish the run since last year. Until you get the guys up front and the breakaway explosive type running backs, can you just lean into developing the young guys you have in the passing game?
Nice
because
pitch.
even when you are scoring, that seems to be the only thing that works.
Flag in the backfield.
1:54 to play in the fourth quarter. 56-7. What do you think the Big Ten coaches?
Illegal block in the back. Offense.
Unreal.
10-yard penalty
What
for
about
the
you?
spot of the foul. Repeat third down.
I'm
Watching this game
open now because we seem just re-examining the situation.
What do you mean in that? Getting rid of him?
What's our schedule again?
I'm willing to hear out arguments that he's not the answer long term, because he seems to have such an issue with beating good teams. You know? But I don't mind him rebuilding us along the way, but
you don't want that to get in our heads.
I'm starting to, be open to questioning things. Ooh, Harburg throw almost intercepted.
Is it possible that his inability to beat good teams is because he's always rebuilding a team?
That's a great point.
And the talent and the cohesiveness, or whatever else you want to call it, isn't at the level of these teams he's playing. He's always coaching from a massive underdog standpoint. I wouldn't say that Indiana is that's a good argument for what you're saying or against what I'm saying, but clearly they're good this year. For whatever reason, easy schedule,
12 times,
blah blah blah, whatever,
in order to score, rather than
like
manipulate their defense.
Which is also on him. Like, stick around at some of these places once you've done a rebuild and see if you can then go from a bottom feeder to a team that is good and can compete with these teams to being a championship level team. But
this time it's sharp.
I feel like people get very short-term memory loss how absolutely horrible Nebraska's been for however many years.
I'll tell you what.
Like, it's not going to be an overnight deal.
There was some question, even in the back of my mind. You know, we talked about it, Gus, in the lead up to this game. It's like, well, is this real? Was this an easy schedule? You look up, you know, they're one of 2 teams in the country that are averaging over 300 yards throwing the football and rushing it for over 200 yards, and they've basically done the exact same thing here today.
Do they try to score here, or they take?
You think they try to score, bro?
They're going to take a knee.
No.
All right. Victory formation, baby. Thank you, Indiana.
That cold-blooded.
Not yet.
Thank you, Signet.
Don't cross him.
Don't cross him. How about this, Coach? Coach Signet, folks. Remember that name. Kurt Signet.
I mean, it's in our best interest if Indiana continues to play like this. I'd love to see them beat teams higher ranked than them. That'd be awesome.
That's your midseason Big Ten Coach of the Year, maybe National Coach of the Year right there. Middle of October, Kurt Signet. Nobody's done a better job than him.
And finally, a smile.
Got another little knee down.
17 of 21, 189, a touchdown, all in the first half. IU, 500-plus yards for the 4th straight game. IU, 5 rushing touchdowns. Ellison with 2.
There's the final meal.
And 2 touchdowns.
We will have Matt Rhule's post-game interview, probably Raiola, whoever they interview. Maybe they'll have Sat. We can all throw Rotten Tomatoes at our TV screens, right?
Rotten Tomatoes.
So stick around. We'll have his post-game interview. But welcome into the post-game show, brought to you by. That's right. We don't have a sponsor.
The PTSD.
Let's hear what Signet has to say. This could be very fun.
Top to bottom today.
Well, to me, it's not about staying undefeated. It's about getting it done on the field today. And you know, we played with great energy and took it to them. It's a dominant win. It wasn't perfect, okay, but it's a great win at home.
What can you tell me about Curtis Rourke and the severity of his injury?
I think we'll know more about him tomorrow. When we went off the field, we didn't think it was, we're not sure, you know. So I thought Taven came in and did a nice job.
You made headlines when you got the job here. You said Purdue sucks, Michigan sucks, Ohio State too. Guess what, Coach? You still have to play all 3 of those teams. What should they know about Indiana football?
I was just getting a rise out of the crowd. You know, I didn't like my first day here, how gloomy everything was about football. So I had to set an expectation level and create some excitement. You know, I respect all these schools, all these head coaches. We're playing pretty well.
Thank you, Coach. Yes, you are. Appreciate the time.
All right. Indiana.
You're muted.
Can you take over for me? I got dogs going brazy outside. And
Yeah.
all right. I'll pull the score up for you. Or the.
You're good. I'm just gonna go to the chat. Yeah, Shyman. I thought the exact same thing. When he goes, it wasn't perfect. Beat the brakes off of us, but it wasn't perfect. How bad will Ohio State be? Pretty bad. I mean, your best hope, in my opinion, is you get a bounce back game like you did last year with Illinois after the Michigan embarrassment, and Ohio State thinking it's a walkthrough game and they're looking ahead or something, and then it's not quite a beatdown. But I mean, either way, that's for sure a loss. We got diddled like a prison wife, says Tiger Shark. Yeah. I mean, I think diddle is like a lighter version of what we actually got, but I hear you. Yeah, I mean, Dylan says, I'll watch, but I don't want to watch the game next week. I was thinking that when that fourth quarter something was dragging out, is like, when I asked Gabe what he, like, the number one thing that sticks out to him of why this was such a bad loss or the poorest performance or part of that, I'm thinking like, well, what can you look for like improvements along the way? You know, like you're going to have to incrementally get better before you're good enough to not let stuff like this happen, or to be, God forbid, in the conversation of having a shot to beat a team like Ohio State years down the road. But it's like, aside of maybe effort, I don't think you're going to be able to see improvements at things, because now you're playing a team that has had a whole week, not that they're probably using it, but a whole week to prepare for you, watching this game, seeing what's happened in these other games where teams, you know, like the Illinois game, or teams where we were struggling, and the talent's way better, the coaching's better. It's like you can improve and look great in practice, even from other practices, but then you're going to come out in what? Like how's that going to translate in that game when it's going to be bad, and the fan talk is going to be drastically different after these first two games of the second half of the season than it was the first two. Like it's going to be, I honestly can't wait to hear like the radio shows and watch other channels and stuff and see how over the top people are getting, how long it's going to take before there's like serious talk about Rhule. Obviously the Foley talk's been going for a while. Satterfield's been kind of a slight, you know, murmur chatter that'll definitely heat up. And then I'm really curious to see after the Ohio State game if they put a little run together. You know, these two presumably ass whoopings they're going to get are going to be, make them better when they go to play UCLA, USC. They put a little string if it sways back the other way, or just, I feel like it's constantly just such a drastic high or low with the fan base. Tony White, poor adjustment, poor play calling. Harburg in way earlier. Dylan not good last three games. Yeah, I don't remember if we put it in one of the videos or if it was just when we were having a conversation. I was telling Gabe, I'm like, after that Illinois game, especially down the stretch and then in overtime, the stark difference in Raiola's ability to be accurate and find the open guy day and night when he has the cleaner pocket compared to the pressure. And it's not like a typical, like, yeah, no shit, when a guy's got a guy coming in or somebody in their face, it's not going to be as easy for them to do it. But it's way worse with him. Like the level of quarterback he is drastically different. You hope a lot of that's age and he can just continue to develop and get out of that. But since that game, you've noticed teams deliberately giving a lot of bluff, but still getting pressure on him, bringing even sometimes a delay guy blitzing, and it's just throwing him so far off his comfort zone. Like Gabe was saying, this game, it's almost like at times he's seeing ghost type scenario where it's just panic when he doesn't need to panic. The one where I was really harping, he needs to just run and get what he can get and slide. He's just, he's freaking out and running around, even though the pocket was pretty good. And you're right. The last few games it showed, but I think it's because when it was so obvious in that Illinois game how far he dropped talent-wise, just from having pressure, not having pressure, every team's like, okay, this is what we for sure have to do. And if you're not designing to beat the blitz they want to run on them short plays. I don't understand why they don't do it right behind where the blitz is coming if they're trying to and he's not reading it. But I mean, there's a lot of development on the players and a ton of adjustments the coaches are going to need to make. Yeah, I see you guys talking with the like Foley and mainly Satterfield. Like, I don't see Rhule firing anybody. Not even at the end of the season, man. To be honest,
he's gonna in this press conference. They might ask him, and he'll shut that shit down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pulling up and waiting for this press conference to start. So,
oh, you're good. I'm not saying that the conversations about it aren't just. I'm just saying he doesn't typically do that, and especially this early on. Like, I'm not as drastic one way or the other as most fans with like, oh, it's fine, it's going to take some time to rebuild. I think it needs to be happening quicker, but I think this is just, there's nothing you can do about where you're at. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you're just forced to look into a mirror, and that's what we're getting. And it sucks and not being happy with where we're at. But
I think it's a little different than that.
5-2 is still 5-2 coming off of how horribly bad you've been.
It's a little bit different, man, than just being forced to look in the mirror. This is like all week, or for the entire season, you've been walking around getting compliments, getting girls, if you're a guy, flirting. Things are going well. You're getting girls' numbers. You're generally seen as a good-looking guy. And then you step out of the shower one random Saturday morning, and you look in the mirror, and you look like Colin Farrell in The Penguin. And you're like, what the hell? How have I been getting girls' numbers and, reciprocated flirting from beautiful women? Like, what is happening?
Well, that's what I was, the second half of what I was getting at was like, I also wasn't, when we started off with the wins we had, it wasn't like, oh, we're back, we're going to be whatever, on the bubble of getting in the playoff, or we're going to have a chance at the Big Ten. It's like, no, man, there's a lot of area in between there that you have to go through the steps. Like, maybe you'll skip a step here or there, jump ahead. You'll probably have a setback or two, but like, you have to get from how bad they were to where everybody wants it to be. And you can get upset that it's not happening quick enough, or excited that you think it's happening quicker than it is. But what I'm saying with the mirror thing is, like, you're going to at points be shown the reality. Like a lot of these pregame videos we do, this was one of them. I'm like, you just don't know how good this team is because of who they played early in the season. And then we had the same thing with Indiana. It's like, they seem to be legit because they should win these games.
Real man's
talking. They haven't really played anybody. But they're beating the brakes off.
In the vertical passing game. And just was bad football bias. And, I'm not embarrassed of our players, but I'm embarrassed of the job that I did, to get our team ready. I have to do a better job next week and the weeks after. I didn't sense any quit in the guys. Probably could have kept the score down by maybe punting, a couple of those fourth downs, or not throwing it and just kind of seeding the game. But I thought it was really important for our team as they went through this, that we continue to try to attack. And there's a bunch of young players, the Dylans of the world. I want them to have those throws, those opportunities, and try to fight back. And we just weren't able to really get anything done on all three sides of the ball today. So very, very, very disappointing. I appreciate all the fans that came here. I appreciate everyone that supports us. And this was certainly not good enough by any stretch, and for that I'm sorry.
Questions? You mentioned that they exploited. So what are the things they exploited? Maybe how did they find those things?
Well, they put us in a run pass bind with their RPO game and a couple of the big plays. They attacked us in man with some crack screens, which is the same stuff we do, and they blocked us well on the perimeter. I felt like a lot of it, to be quite honest with you, Sam, was just we didn't tackle real well. I mean, they were finding seams and missing tackles, and even, it might seem like a little thing now and then, but all of a sudden you're in, instead of being in 2nd and 7, you're in 1st and 10 again, and they just stay on the field. And so, and I think they threw the ball up and they went up and got the ball, and that makes it hard for Tony as he's trying to play some man, to get it, and then we just were never quite able to get home. Even when we got home a couple times, we couldn't quite sack the quarterback. So, just didn't really make a play to get off the field. I mean, Malcolm made the one play before the half where he jumped up and knocked away the post, and that was really the only one that we had. So I haven't seen a day like that defensively. Even if you go back to Michigan for us last year, obviously that game got away from us, but it was never a day where we just couldn't get a stop. I don't think we used the punt return team till the fourth quarter. We had the one stop on 4th down, but they played fast. They played decisively. Their backs ran hard, and we didn't tackle.
Can you expand on what you mean by, or what you saw from their effort? You mentioned you saw no quit in them. What did you see as things got out of hand?
Well, I mean, I think it was 28. Was it 28-7? Coming out of the half, and we drove the ball down. We throw the things sometimes go out of order in my brain, right? But because I'm thinking back, but we throw the pick on 4th down, right, and that runs down there. I'm just saying, I've been a part of some bad teams where guys are on the sidelines throwing their helmets and quitting. I didn't see that. I saw guys wanting to continue to play. As we got into the 4th, that game was decided, which was disappointing. So we played some of the young players, and they made some mistakes. But I think it was 3 interceptions, maybe 4, in the second half, 3, and which led to touchdowns by them. So, I do believe with all my heart, I believe that in games like this, there's a ton of lessons and a ton of opportunities. And so, getting out there offensively and trying to drive the ball, or defensively, playing some of the young players, you give guys a chance to get reps, versus a really good team, but. I just think that I thought they had our number today, and again, that's the part that really infuriates me as the head coach. People are going to point at this person, everything should be pointed right at me. I usually can see things coming. And I'll tell you right now, I did not see this coming, and so credit to them. I don't want to take anything away from them. They're an excellent football team, but yeah, I did not see this coming.
What's your biggest concern right now on offense? Did you miss? What would you say?
You talking about today, during the game today, or I'm not probably
today and in totality?
I'm probably not in the right mind frame to do like a big picture thing. I'll be happy to answer that probably on Monday. As I think through it, I'm still so in the moment here today. I think the biggest thing today, Sip, is there's nothing that's happening that's like easy and routine. You got a one-on-one, you're throwing a bubble out there, and we're catching it, and they're running for 20 yards on the same play, and we're getting tackled for no gain. It's one thing when if you're throwing that into bad coverages, you're yelling at the coaches, and it's just in general, right? And so I'm not putting that on the players. I'm not putting that on anybody. It's just even when you think you have a good play, like a big play, it's just not quite clicking. And we wanted to play that game differently. Our hope today was to come out. They're a pass rushing group. We wanted to get in big people. We wanted to run the ball. We wanted to play action. We wanted to be violent. We kind of had that going. We ran the ball on that one drive and then fumbled the ball in the red zone, right? Then we came back and we did some different things and scored to make it 14-7. And then kind of as it got away from us, it just was like, hey, we're going to have to go more of a drop back to get back in the game. And I don't know that we're going to win, just dropping back and throwing it every play. We need a run game to go with it. And, So in general, I think as the score got away from us, we got away from kind of the game plan offensively, but nothing that's happening. You kind of throw a ball out there and it's one-on-one, and you're hoping someone steps out of it. We're just not quite stepping out of it, and I'm not throwing that on the guys. I've got to find better ways to get our guys to make that play. We made some great catches. Jalen catches the ball, puts his hand on the ground. But
what is he going to do? Go out there and catch it for him?
Plays. We're kind of always getting tackled and having to snap it again. And, you like the 80-yard run. You like the 40-yard play. So I think that's what I saw today. And as we move forward, I'd be happy to talk. I can think through it. I just don't want to say something that's,
I know it's standard for you to defer at the beginning of games if you guys win the coin toss. Did you consider taking the ball to try to get a lead on Indiana right away?
Obviously, it didn't play out the way you hoped. Yeah. But what was the thought process in choosing to defer?
Yeah, we always defer, and we trust our defense, right? We have a pretty darn good defense. We thought we were going to play great defense today. Sometimes I'll take the ball when wins a factor. But if you look at most of the games that they've played, it's been a one-score game going into the fourth quarter. This is the first time, other than that, they've just done that to somebody. Like, they were clicking on all cylinders, and we were not. And so
we were.
That's why I say, I
clicking on no cylinders.
What can I look at but me? But that's why I just thought, like, hey, and again, we stopped. We had them stop. They make the first down, right? We have them second and whatever. They checked the ball down. Third down, so they had some opportunities. Both drives that they scored early on to get off the field. I thought we'd be better on third down. I thought we'd match up well. In third down, we didn't quite make any plays in coverage, today that we needed to make.
What are the challenges now of just moving on from this? Because obviously you're going to play a team with perceptually more talent next weekend on the road at Ohio State.
Yeah, I honestly, I just think that our guys are going to bounce back. I've never doubted the character of those guys. This was not a day-to-day where they didn't come out and try. This wasn't a week where they didn't practice. That's what hurts me about it, right? Like, I'm telling you that I believe we were going to play great just based upon everything that I've seen. And so we got a lot of guys in that room who love Nebraska, and they're resilient, and they want to battle. And so, as a team, we have some things that we're, good at. We have some things that we're not quite good enough at yet.
Bro, Ohio State was watching this game together as a team, I bet you. So, cracking up.
And they'll fight. I would have no doubt that we'll
eating
fight.
Scooby snacks.
Days of like a big disappointing loss, setting us on a run. We're going to play each game. If the team's better than us, they're better than us. But I know those guys. They'll battle.
What was your last one?
Sorry?
What was the
I disagree with the call. So I was holding the iPad when I did it. So, you're not supposed to show the iPad to the official, but because I was holding it, he threw it on me. But I didn't show it to him. So I'm confused sometimes about some of the rules now. But here again, that had nothing, I appreciate you asking me. I want to make sure I say that had nothing to do with the game. It was a well-called game. We didn't play nearly well enough.
Real quick about Dylan, how did you assess his performance today?
Yeah, I think I have to watch the tape to see, where things were.
You don't have to watch the tape.
I just think with young, talented quarterbacks like that, that stunk today, right? Like in terms of being in that situation. But that situation will pay off for him in so many ways. Because what I loved was he just kept wanting to go back out there, and he just kept competing. And even that second to last drive, he moved us down the field. We have the ball down to the 5-yard line, right? So that competitive spirit, that grit, that's what you want from your quarterback. A lot of those quarterbacks, especially those 5-star kids, nothing's ever been hard for them. That was hard today, and Ja'Cory kept going out there, and he kept going out there, and so we'll take this one. We'll let it hurt. We won't say much. I hope we'll just we'll go back home. We'll wake up tomorrow, and we'll get to work on next week. Because no matter what the score is, we just we lost, right? Whether you lose in overtime or you lose by the score we lost by a day, it's just a loss. It's a bad loss, and again, I apologize for that loss. I apologize that people spent their time and money to come watch that. But again, I'm not embarrassed of our guys. I'm proud of our guys, and I know the work that they put in. I know the sacrifices they make. They'll do it again this week. But I thought that was important for Dylan. Big picture on how he played. Obviously, I have to watch this film. Even the one pick six, like, it's really not on him. He's counting on a lot of other people, and if it's not quite perfect at the quarterback position, it's hard. And so we'll get a little bit better next week.
All right.
Thank you.
Talk to me, G. You didn't like that. I
just want to apologize to everybody in the chat that watched today. I don't expect him to walk off the sideline and have a bunch of insight, but I kind of thought it during the game, but after listening to him talk, it seems like it sounds so dumb. It sounds like Indiana is Ohio State. There wasn't anything you could put your finger on of why we lost, or if you change this or that. It's literally their players are that much better than ours. When he's talking about you throw a bubble, it's basically what I was saying. Like when you throw a bubble screen and you can't get a tackle for no gain or a loss, and they take it for 20 yards. We do the same thing. It's still a man-to-man, and we end up getting hit for losses on all those plays. What's the explanation other than way better athletes than you? Like, is that the case? Is Indiana's James Madison players that much better than these guys that everybody was so excited about that got recruited and that we have seen flashes of doing some shit?
He wasn't blaming it on talent.
No, he didn't verbally say that's what it is. But when you give those scenarios that he's giving, that's 100% what it is. They didn't out-scheme stopping your screen just like you didn't out-scheme theirs. You got the man-to-man. You got the one-on-one that you want when you do those. Their guys broke it for decent gains every time. Our guys took tackles for losses every time. That's a microcosm of the whole game. But, I mean, I'm saying that scenario he's using. Okay, then what's the problem? Why did theirs work and why did yours not? If all things are the same, like, I don't know. Like, what's the other explanation for it? That's just hard to swallow that Indiana's that much better than you from a talent aspect when you've got Ohio State on the docket.
Well, I think there's different things than talent that play into winning, like chemistry and experience. And I think they had more chemistry and experience. And their quarterback is no effing joke, bro. Like, he made throws so sexy, it makes me feel less bad about losing, because the throws he was making were absolutely NFL quarterback throws. And the catches, hell, even Jackson gets out there and throws a dime, and the receiver fucking Willie Mays Hayes it with head straight up in the air. I mean, they are talented. They absolutely are talented. But they are more experienced. They were more physical.
They're definitely more experienced.
And physical.
I don't know that I buy
and had better chemistry.
Chemistry as much.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, they've played together essentially the same amount of time as our players have played together.
Or less.
Well, I'm saying, like, from the offensive standpoint, like, we come in with a freshman, they brought in a quarterback from one school, a bunch of skill players from another school, and a bunch of other guys from other schools, but it's like, I don't see why they would have crazy more chemistry than our offensive line. 1,000% has more chemistry than theirs, or has played together more than theirs. I don't know that I'd go so far as to say that, but I don't know, man. That's I honestly think a lot of it is Raiola being a freshman. A lot of it. Like, that's kind of what I was, when we were watching the game, that's kind of what I'm seeing is like, yeah, you got a freshman that doesn't have a lot of experience, kind of the Rhule's point, what he's saying, a lot of these 5-stars, they don't have to deal with a ton of adversity or beatdowns. But now that you're at this level, you have to get experience on when things don't work, when things are in the middle of your backstep, middle of your drop back, shit's breaking down, a route's not going exactly how it should. A guy rotates that was in a disguise pre-snap, and now a route you thought you were going to go to is not there. The pocket presence is a big factor for him at this level. The way he handles it or doesn't handle it, like shit like that. Like, that's kind of what I was chalking a lot of it up to. The defense, I mean, that's a whole other thing, but on the offensive side, it's that. But when you hear him say it like that, where it's like, that's a good point, man. They weren't doing crazy plays that it's like, man, why can't we run that shit? They were doing a lot of the stuff that we would do. It just worked. Ours didn't. And it wasn't like this car works and this car doesn't. They were able to stop it, and we weren't able to stop it. They were able to make us miss and extend drives. We were not able to make them miss and extend drives. You know what I mean? Like, that to me just comes down to straight up talent.
Man, they don't even have anyone else out here to answer any questions. Just Rhule. let's just go ahead and just wash our hands of this week and start preparing our b-holes for next week. What do you say?
I think you have to stop being cautious, and you have to stop thinking that you have kind of a finished product with your team, and you're going to plug in this. You've got this mindset that this is what I want our identity or our offensive system to be, and sticking with it. I'll get back to that. Go ahead.
Obviously, we wanted to move the ball better than that, but it is what it is right now. It stings, but we just got to learn from it and move on.
Obviously, on the first drive of the second half, it was fourth down. You kind of have to put one in there to try to move the chain. What do you see on that play, and what would you take out of that one?
Yeah, I was just give him a better ball, or give someone else a chance to make a play. That's probably one of the ones I wanted back. So look at it and learn from it.
Were they doing something that was kind of making you hold the ball longer, or things just not coming open the way you wanted to see when you were looking down the field today?
Yeah, I think my O-line did a great job protecting. They did a good job of kind of getting under things and kind of rerouting, but I don't think anything challenging, from a scheme standpoint. Kind of knew everything they were doing, but yeah, it's unfortunate, but it like I said, is what it is right now.
Coach Rhule said it's a resilient team. I mean, obviously this loss is very, very fresh, but just what do you think of the character of the guys and how you want to bounce back?
Yeah, I think losses like this is tough. Nothing we can do right now. We just got to get back Monday, tomorrow even, learn from what we did and just move on to the next game.
What are the challenges dealing with coming back down at Ohio State, back-to-back road games against another highly ranked team? How do you get the team to come back?
Yeah, I mean, it starts tomorrow. I don't doubt that we'll come back from this loss and be ready to go. Come next week, we got an exciting opportunity ahead of us, and I know we'll take advantage of it and make something happen.
Hey Jalen, can you explain how you guys felt, like the energy that you thought you had coming into this, what you thought you accomplished in the bye, and you thought the team would play today?
Yeah, I think the energy coming off the bye was really good. Excited group, ready to play. Obviously, we had the bye week early, so kind of anxious, ready to go. I think that we just kind of let things slip out of our hands, and we just didn't respond today.
One more for these guys, if there is. Dylan, how did you feel like you were seeing the field? I mean, you kind of touched on this earlier, but in the second half, you ended up going to a lot of checkdowns. Like as you went to the sideline and saw the iPad and talked to Coach Thomas, like what did you feel about the way today, maybe in comparison to the first 6 games that you were able to see the field?
I think obviously with them having the lead, they weren't going to give anything up deep. So kind of just give them what they take me, and yeah, I didn't have any issues seeing what they were doing. It's a matter of executing.
All right, thank you guys.
They let these boys off the hook real easy. Gary, any final thoughts?
It's a matter of execution were his final words. Who's been saying that? Was that you?
It was. I think it was me.
Yeah.
No one will remember you said that.
I wish this would have happened. I wish this game took place before the bye, because then you have 2 weeks to go, all right, we're going to have a lot more Harburg packages where both of them are on the field. We're going to not have so many flares and drag routes. We're not going to rely on these dumbass screens that we're trying to stretch wide when we can't block on the edges. But it's late in the game to be adding shit to the offense when you can't execute the one that you've had in play all off season and this season. But it is what it is, man. They're married to the whole idea. We're going to try to be a prototypical Big Ten team and establish the run, even though you haven't been able to do that all season long. And if we're lucky, we'll get 3 or 4 deep shots. Other than that, it's going to be check down, crossing route type shit on offense, and pretty much solely rely on the defense to pitch as close to shutouts as possible to have a chance of winning games.
All right, guys, we're going to try to get a post-game video out ASAP. Thank you for hanging out with us. Sorry about that. I don't even know what you would call that game, but it's over now. You can lay your weary heads down. Take a nap. You want to sing us away, Gary?
No, I'm good.
We'll see you soon, folks.